Phoenix, Arizona, the hometown of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Another hot day today, well over 100 degrees, but inside here, the building with the roof on it, Chase Field, the Rockies, and the Arizona Diamondbacks get set. Game one of their four-game series here at Chase Field. Jerry Schimmel and George Frazier as the Rockies try to get back on track. They lost 2 out of 3 in Oakland, trying to get back on track as Charlie Blackmon will lead off for the Rockies in this ball game against Jeremy Hellickson. And look at the lineup for the Rockies, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Charlie Blackmon leads off for the Rockies. A little bit different look again. Tulo hitting second. Carlos Gonzalez hitting third. Cleanup man is Nolan Arenado. Ben Paulson has started first base. Nick Hundley beyond the plate. Getting a day off at second base is DJ LeMahieu, so Daniel Descalso gets to start there. Number 8 hitter tonight is the pitcher, Chris Russin. Brandon Barnes back in left field. Troy Tulowitzki trying to keep that hitting streak going. Jeremy Hellickson, the veteran right-hander, George, maybe off with the numbers a little bit this year, but still a solid player.
A very solid pitcher, 45 and 41, 397 earned run average. At home, he's 3-2 and earned run average in the mid-5s. On the road, 2-3, mid-5 ERA. His night record, not very good, 1-4. And the one key you look at, Jerry, I look at all these guys when they throw, and I go to ahead in the count, behind in the count. Ahead in the count is earned run average, very good at 2.90, behind nearly 10. So making mistakes when you're behind, getting the fastball to the middle of the plate. Had one of his worst outings last week, 5 1/3 against San Diego. 10 hits, 7 runs given up. He did strike out 8. That was the season high for him.
Jeremy Hellickson, the former Tampa Bay Ray and American League Rookie of the Year. Let's look at the D-backs with the leather. A little bit different look than we have seen in the past with some injuries. Peralta's in left, normally plays right. A.J. Pollock having a great year in center. Tomas is in right. We've seen him at third base. Aaron Hill's at third tonight. Nick Ahmed swinging the bat real well. He's at short. Owings at second. Goldschmidt at first base. And then Wellington Castillo, the veteran catcher for the D-backs. Chase Field with the roof closed tonight. Very pleasant inside. And here we go. First pitch of the game on the way to Charlie Blackmon, and it's high and outside for ball 1.
Yeah, you see the slow delivery, a very hesitant, deliberate type delivery till he gets his arm on top, and then everything gets a little bit quicker. It helps him get set with his hand on top of the baseball, trying to work down plane to the zone.
2-0 to Blackmon. First career start for Jeremy Hellickson against the Rockies. 6'1", 185, fourth-round pick in 2005 by the Rays. Pulled foul off the bat of Charlie Blackmon. He was out ahead.
Yeah, getting that hitter's count. You get a fastball middle half. Hard to pull back off of that. And Charlie trying to become a better, and I think a better leadoff man. And stats have proven that from 2014 to 2015. Seeing more pitches. Swinging less at the first pitch to try to get ahead into hitters' counts, to get more walks than what he has in years past.
That's in there for a strike. Charlie told us in the spring that he wanted to be a better leadoff man. He's going to work on that, and I think the numbers have proven that, George.
Absolutely. Pitches taken. You see that almost jump of 10% more pitches, and it's only going to get better as the year progresses.
2-2 pitch. He has popped up. Shallow left. Third baseman, this is Hill in foul ground, will make the catch.
It's pretty interesting. He's had a few bad starts, but a lot of starts for Hellickson has been 3 runs or less. He's kept him in a lot of ball games. He likes for you to chase out of the zone. You don't see many called third strikes. You see a lot of swinging strikes, but when he does get the ball up, his fastball is not overpowering. It's 89 to 91, and when it's up, it's flat. Loses its movement in late life, and that's when he can get hurt.
Troy Tulowitzki hitting second tonight. Troy riding a 14-game hitting streak. And you look at strike 1. He said seeing the ball extremely well, feeling very relaxed at the plate, and boy, the numbers bear it out. 320 batting average. And now 41 RBIs. All-star numbers for an all-star shortstop. Hits that one well to center. Pollock is going to retreat, but he's going to get there and make the catch. Boy, he really squared that up well, but it's the second out.
Wrong part of the ballpark, dead center. You get it into left center, you're taking a soft trot around the bases.
Well, who wants tacos? If the Rockies score 7 or more runs, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next time between 4 and 6 and get your Rockies taco special. Liv Moss at Taco Bell. Rockies on this road trip have had trouble scoring some runs, especially in Oakland, trying to change that tonight. Carlos Gonzalez with 2 outs and nobody on. Cargo, one of the few that swung the bat well yesterday in Oakland in that afternoon game. He had a couple of solid base hits. Eight for 25 on this road trip. It started in San Francisco and then Oakland, and now game 1 of 4 here to finish it up in the desert. Just missed. 1-1 on Cargo. Since May 27, a batting average over 300 for Gonzalez, on the year 245, and the home runs are up now, double figures in that category. That one is fouled away. Jeremy Hellickson, 2010 minor league player of the year. I mean everybody, all teams, not just pitchers but position players as well. And he came up the next year, was the American League Rookie of the Year with the Rays. Picked up on a trade in the offseason by the D-backs. Out of Des Moines, Iowa. That one's in the dirt. Cargo lays off. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Says that one of the keys for his career was developing a curveball. He said that James Shields, especially when they were teammates with the Rays, helped him out with that curveball in spring training a couple of different times. And it's been a real good pitch for him since. Swing and a miss on the tailing fastball. 1-2-3 inning for the Rockies against the D-backs and Jeremy Hellickson. We'll come back. Bottom of the first coming up. No score. Nick Ahmed, the shortstop's going to lead off for the D-backs tonight. Swinging the bat lately very, very well. And here's the Southwest Airlines starting lineup for the D-backs tonight. Ahmed will lead off, and A.J. Pollock, who could be a lot of teams' leadoff guy, will hit second. Goldschmidt, the All-Star, is hitting third. Yasmani Tomas really swinging the bat well. He's moving in that cleanup spot. Then Castillo, the catcher. Aaron Hill, the veteran infielder. David Peralta, quite a story. He's in left. Chris Owens moved from short to second. And Jeremy Hellickson on the mound hitting at ninth. Chris Russin, the starter tonight, George, for the Rocks.
He's appeared in 7 ball games. 6 of those have been a start, making his 7th start of the season, 3-2. Overall, doesn't walk many, just 12 with 26 strikeouts. The long ball has bit him, particularly in Houston in that start on the road. And what's nice to look at, folks, 346 earned run average at Coors Field out on the road, with the exception of the start at Houston, and it's been a very good earned run average. Ahead in the count, 3.18 earned run average. Behind in the count, nearly 9.
And a real pleasant surprise for the Rockies.
I think he has been, Jerry. I think it's one of those guys that you picked up on a waiver claim in the winter. You didn't anticipate him getting the opportunity as quick as he did, but he got injuries. He was pitching well. It was his turn in Albuquerque, and he's taken advantage of it. 2-0 in his career versus these Diamondbacks, but it was in a Cub uniform.
One in 2012, the other win in 2013. Ahmed will take that pitch high. 1 ball and 1 strike. I think you put Rustin in there with Chad Bettis as very pleasant surprises for the Rockies.
Very much so, and I think it's such a contrast, a guy that's 88 to 90 and a Bettis that's 90-94. So you're able to mix match a little bit with your rotation. So the same look doesn't show up twice back-to-back days.
Ball right side, that's going to find right field for a base hit for Ahmed.
Well, we'll go back and look at those starts of Chris had in a Cub uniform when he pitched against the Diamondbacks here in Arizona. Big breaking ball for the strike 3. 2 starts, 2-0, an earned run average of 2.70. And obviously had the cutter working, and he was able to dominate both the right and left-handed hitters of the Diamondbacks.
.6'2", 195, University of Kentucky for Chris Russin. So nobody outmanned at first base for A.J. Pollock. The right-handed hitter to start for Russin. And that one's in there for a strike. Pollock, the Notre Dame product. Even 300 on the year, and for a leadoff guy, which he normally is, a lot of speed, a lot of pop in that bat as well. He's got 9 homers.
16 stolen bases. He's only been caught 5 times. Ahmed's been on the homer streak. He's hit 6 so far, 4 in the last week.
This D-backs team, a very good offensive team. Boy, they had him leaning. Oh, just about got him at first base. We have seen that good move from Chris Rustin this year. Hard to read if you're a base runner. Almost picked off Ahmed.
They picked a quick snap throw over, and then again, Ben Paulson, a right-handed thrower, so the glove is out front, farther to pull it back. It's probably the difference in being out or safe.
Good speed on this team, good power on this team. It's a very balanced team in terms of young and old. It's a very good offensive team. They come into the National League leading in runs scored tonight.
Well, if they do get back Corbin on Saturday, they're starting to slowly get their pitching staff back together. Archie Bradley was at Dr. Andrews today, or yesterday I should say, and said there's no structural damage. There's inflammation. He made 1 rehab start at Reno, went 4 innings, 3 runs given up. He walked 3, felt some discomfort at the end of that. So they're looking forward to him getting healthy. Addison Reed sent to AAA. Ziegler's your closer.
0-2 the count. Throw to first, and this time Ahmed's back standing.
Make me dive once, you won't make me dive twice. I'm gonna honor and respect the move.
Chris Russin told us in the spring too. I thought it was interesting, George. He said, "I've got to create some deception." So got that little kind of funky delivery where he pauses. He said, "I have to hide the ball because I'm not going to overpower anybody." I think he's put those 2 things together pretty well.
Very well. And the hand and the arm, if you watch when it falls out of the glove, it stays right on the body line.
Ball in the dirt, throw to second base, and gets away, skips into center field, but Ahmed will hold at second base. Ball got away from Hundley just a little bit. Ahmed with a nice read.
21st wild pitch by a Rocky staff when Nick Hundley is catching. Nick's been very good, 12 of 28 would-be base stealers. Tried to have quick footwork with the snap throw, and it gets into the dirt. And when it got into that dirt area, it skips awkwardly as Staccasso comes over, and it took that hop off the heel of the glove.
Now nobody out, the man in scoring position for the D-backs. Count is 1-2 on Pollock. Popped him up, right side, playable for Ben Paulson, the first baseman. He's got it, 1 down. Let's set the Rockies defensively tonight. Again, DJ LeMahieu not playing, so different second baseman. But Barnes back in left, Blackman in center, and Gonzalez in right. Arenado and Tulowitzki on the left side of the infield. Descalso getting the start at second base. Paulson and Nick Hundley behind the plate for Chris Russin tonight.
Even though it's the first inning, as a starting pitcher, this is the last guy you want to face with guys in scoring position, second in the National League in RBIs. So it may be one of those, you want to chase my breaking ball, you want to chase my sinker away, go ahead.
Look at those numbers, 350, 20 homers, 65 RBIs, leading just about every offensive category in the National League. He's also set a record for walks prior to the All-Star game in a D-backs uniform. Pitches inside, ball one, and just beats up the Rockies. He's hitting .412. He's 14 for 34 against the Rockies this year.
Just the RBI totals, third in the National League behind Nolan. Stanton's out for 4 to 6 weeks.
And that's about the only one he doesn't lead, that RBI total. 1-0 pitch. Runs inside again. 2-0 to Goldschmidt. He's a Texan out of the Houston area. Played college baseball at Texas State University. About 36 games in a row reaching base against the Rockies.
Such a good eye at home plate. Yep. Really gets you into a hitter's count.
And a 2-0 pitch. Caught the outside edge. Good spot for the 2-0 pitch. And
very good
Russin
sinker.
Hitting his spot on the outside.
Very good sinker, Jerry. It had a lot of movement right at the very end, down into the zone. Well received by Nick Hundley to be able to keep that pitch. You see how far extension that arm had to keep the sink up into the zone.
You look at scouting reports on hot pitch Goldschmidt. Some say throw him inside. Others say throw him outside. You don't know which one to trust. Throw to second. They got the man picked off. Ahmed is tagged out by Descalso. That extra half a second holding the ball, Russin paid off.
I'm telling you, Jerry, it was great because as he came up with his motion, I think at that point he was ready to go to home plate. He dropped the leg straight down because he saw Descalso come to the bag, and the snap throw was right on the money. Right there. See, I think he was thinking about it because you see that excitement, a turn, a quick flinch to second, and the tag applied. Boy, that stuff works you right out of big innings when you're a good athlete on the mound like Chris is.
2 outs and nobody on now for the D-backs. In the dirt to Goldschmidt, 3-1. So Ahmed almost got picked off at first, got picked off at second.
Fourth base runner for Arizona in this game and the previous series to either overrun a base or get picked off.
Russin back into a windup now with nobody on base. Got that funky windup. You watch him. It looks like he's almost coming set. Then he keeps going. Base hit to center.
How big is the pickoff now?
Ooh. That one sizzling right by Chris Russin for a hit for Goldschmidt. Now you come back and you have Yasmani Tomas, a guy who has really come on the last month or so. I mean, beginning of the year, he struggled a bunch. Spring training throughout, he struggled, but he's found the swing these days. And .319 the batting average. Rookie out of Cuba.
So much hype is built around these players since Puig came to the Dodgers. Arriba with the, I'm trying to think of him, with the Chicago White Sox, the big first baseman. He was run Rookie of the Year last year and hit all the home runs, but he came over. So now there's so much expectations from these Cuban players coming over that I think in the beginning of their careers, it takes them time. Abreu takes them time.
You got Cespedes too?
Yeah, to get going.
Yeah.
And to feel that. There's always been a little bit of success going all the way back to El Duque with the Yankees as a pitcher, but the position guys are starting to move now.
I think this guy too, and this is according to D-backs folks, their broadcasters, really felt the pressure early on. Big contract, they paid him a lot of money to sign. I think he felt that early on. He's relaxed now and he's really swinging the bat well. And a bouncing ball, that one grabbed by Arenado. Short way to second, no harm done in this first inning against Chris Russin and the Rockies. We'll head to the second, no score in Phoenix. Tucson Toyota stores. Let's go places. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. The sun setting in Phoenix, Arizona on a beautiful evening. Warm but beautiful as Nolan Arenado comes to the plate. And how about the month of June for Nolan Arenado, George?
Oh, what an amazing month. He's hit .304, the 12 home runs, first in the National League. 33 RBIs, first in the National League. Hits in all but 5 June games. And I thought he said best when Charlie Blackmon commented, you see Nolan take 3 of the worst swings in your life, and the 4th swing he hits it out of the ballpark. He's that type of hitter. He adjusts during at-bats. Better than probably 95% of the guys playing at the big league level right now.
And a young man that I just love watching play because he plays with energy and he plays with passion. He loves this game of baseball. Not a happier guy, I don't think, on the field these days than Nolan Arenado. Said in the spring, he said, I want my bat to catch up with my glove. Boy, he has done that this year. How did the All-Star break get 68 RBIs? I'll take that for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike to the Rockies third baseman. Hasn't had the great road trip. He's 2 for 12 on the series in Oakland and 7 for 24. And he had some good swings in San Francisco before that Oakland series, and really nobody hit the ball that well against the A's. 2-1. So 7 hits, 4 of those home runs and 8 RBIs. A quiet series in Oakland, but a loud one across the bay in San Francisco. Rips this to right center field. That's going to be extra bases. That's going to reach the wall. Nolan will cruise into second base. He'll have himself a stand-up double.
It was almost as if he set Hellickson up. Fastball in, fastball away for a strike. Fastball in, tried to go fastball away again. After missing in, Nolan looked away, took it away into right center field. Fastball at 91 miles an hour. Not a bad pitcher's pitch, but Nolan so thinking along with Hellickson that he's able to respond with a double in right center field.
First hit for the Rockies on the night. So a man in scoring position, nobody out. And Ben Paulson, the first baseman, comes up. So from the stretch is Jeremy Hellickson for the first time. Swing and a miss off speed pitch. Paulson was out ahead.
You watch in the dugout as a hitter, and I know even when you played Jerry and you watched, what was the first pitch fastball? He's done that to 6 straight batters. All right, I'm going to look first pitch fastball. Then you gear for that, and then you get the changeup or the curveball. It's tough to adjust to.
It's off the plate. 1-1 to Ben Paulson. Had a good road trip. Ben 6 for 16 on this trip. He's got a couple of RBIs.
Another guy that's been a pleasant surprise, finally getting that opportunity to play on more of a regular basis and responding.
The thing too with this guy, Ben Paulson, he is very, very solid defensively.
Got a slow heartbeat.
Yep.
You know, when people say, what do you mean by that? He just stays calm through the game. Expressions don't change very often.
Trying to drive in the game's first run. And he'll line that foul out of play.
Well, you look at how they've set up defensively with the second baseman, Owings really sliding over, along with Goldschmidt. And then the shortstop, Ahmed's playing up the middle. Fastball away, did the right thing, trying to shoot it through the left side of that infield.
Ben's done a nice job of that this year. Had a drive, a double yesterday, the gap the other way in that game in Oakland. 1-2 pitch. Got it. Pitch out of the strike zone. Ben Paulson out in front. Doesn't strike out a whole lot, but Hellickson got him there.
Same pitch, it seemed like, similar to the first pitch he swung and missed. Changeup away. But Hellickson had his success the other day against San Diego. He gave up 7 runs, but when he did have strikeouts, a lot was on the changeup.
Now Nick Hundley, the catcher, will stand in. Something that Walt Weiss talked about before the game tonight. He said we just didn't execute very well yesterday, and that we had runners at second, couldn't get them to third, and the Rockies couldn't get Arenado to third with Paulson strike out. Let's see if Hundley can help that cause. He'll take strike one.
It's all about putting offensive pressure on the defense and on the pitching staff. The more little things you do offensively, the happier Walt's going to be, because it's going to produce runs.
It takes a lot of time between pitches, and he wants the signs run through again by his catcher, Castillo. Wellington Castillo picked up on a trade near about a month and a half ago with the D-backs. Missed outside on that pitch. 1-1.
Fastball's been sitting 89-90 most of the time. Touched 91 once, the double by Nolan. But I don't see a lot of sink to the baseball. Now it's a matter of just reading it out of the hand, making the adjustment, and making some damage happen.
And that runs inside. 2 balls and a strike. Rockies fans, you can join the conversation. Send us your thoughts, photos via Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook using the hashtag Toyota Talk. We'll show some of your Toyota Talk comments throughout the ballgame. No score in the top of the second inning. Rockies are threatening. And man at second base and 1 down. Count of 2-1 on Hundley. Jeremy Hellickson had committed to play college baseball at LSU, that great program, and then drafted by the Rays 4th round out of high school and decided to sign.
It's worked out.
Yep. Worked out very nicely. Got American League Rookie of the Year award. He's got a Gold Glove award. Very, very good athlete. Rockies trying to punch through in this second inning. And he'll take that curveball outside. 3-1.
More of a swing and miss chase curveball versus a 2-1 throw for a strike curveball.
And a 3-1 pitch. That one's hit to the third baseman, backing uphill to get the hop throw to first base in time, and Arenado has to stay at second base. So 2 outs, and Arenado still standing on that second base bag. You tip your hat to Hellickson for getting a couple of good pitches thrown to Paulson and Hundley. Now we'll see if Daniel Descalso can bring the run in. .213 batting average, but that's skewed a little bit for Descalso. He has had trouble as a pinch hitter. As a starter, he swung the bat very well.
Well, I think that he has one of the hardest jobs in the game. When you're a utility infielder, you don't know if you're going to play second, short, or third. You don't know when you're going to pinch hit. The Rockies have a short bench with 4 guys, so at some point you're going to be in the ball game as a left-handed pinch hitter. So it's a difficult job to stay consistent.
Descalso is a pinch hitter, 3 for 25.
That's over half of his at bats. 52 at bats on the season. Excuse me, 94 at bats. So a third of those, or 25%, have come as a pinch hitter.
This will be his 20th start this year at second base for the second time. Veteran from Northern California, had lots of friends and family in Oakland and San Francisco watching those games. That's there for a strike as well. He's down 0-2. Ellingson trying not to let the leadoff double by that guy Arenado hurt him here in the top of the second. Oh, 2 pitch to Descalso. Swing and a miss with a pitch in the dirt, and the Rockies unable to score. Unable to get Arenado past second base. Bottom of the second coming up. No score. With you, moving over from the radio booth, and my replacement at 850KOA.com, and 850KOA is interesting tonight.
My partner this weekend, well, you can't see it on the radio, but she has just enough purple to lay claim to Rockies pride and all of that. But as we talked a little bit, Jenny, at the outset during Rockies on Deck, this is, I think, going to be a lot. I know it's going to be fun for me. I hope it's going to be fun for you.
Well, of course it is. I got to sit next to you for a whole game. This is going to be great. I'm excited, and I think it's important to note that I was very confused walking in here today because all of our Diamondbacks counterparts were wearing purple. And I thought we might have been traded. I didn't know, Jack.
Yeah, I did the same thing, and I always felt...
Well, that was our own Jenny Kavnar filling in on the radio. I think that's going to be a great experience for everybody, especially for the listeners on the radio tonight. And here's a tweet from Jenny tonight. Thank you for all the support. Let's play ball. Well, I think it was said right. If anybody can do it, it's her. Ground ball to Arenado. Dives, gets back up, and throws to first base. A Gold Glove play on a ground ball out by Wellington Castillo.
So used to seeing this, and it has really helped, I think, Troy Tulowitzki, because now he doesn't have to range as far and make those awkward throws. When you have a guy like Nolan that's 1, 2, 3 steps in a dive to save the baseball, Troy comes in behind him. But years past, you would have to see Troy go after that ball, try to make the acrobatic throw. Nolan, great third baseman, obviously.
Aaron Hill, the veteran infielder, is next. And one down, nobody on for the D-backs. No score in the second. Russin delivers, and that pitch is inside. 1 ball, 1 strike on Aaron Hill. Went to LSU. He was a former SEC Player of the Year. He's a West Coast guy. Former Toronto Blue Jay, and he had some great years with the Blue Jays before a trade a couple of years ago. He went around on that pitch. He got all tied up, 1-2. Had some good power numbers over the years. Aaron Hill, he can play a number of different positions. He's played in the outfield. He's played first, second, third. Right there, strike 3, a fastball. Looking for something different, I think, was Hill. 2 down.
Quick work, quick strikes, quick outs. You like to see it. Chris does a nice job of getting a cut fastball right on the inner half of the plate. Something I don't think Hill was looking for. I think he looked for off-speed away, and he gets rung up. Not happy with the call by Jim Riddles, but a good call.
Now here's David Peralta, who's really quite a story. He's having a good solid year again, coming off a great rookie year a year ago, but this is a former minor league pitcher in the Cardinals organization.
Great arm. Went to the independent league to become a position player, signed by Chris Caminici. Hopefully I pronounced that right for Chris, who works the independent leagues.
Against the shift, Arenado's got the ground ball. 1-2-3, second inning for Chris Russin. We'll head to the third. No score in the desert on Root Sports. Are scoreless, and it's time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use this hashtag RMDataStrongFan, and you might just see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. Nolan Arenado with a leadoff double and a couple fine plays at third base, and that's nothing new for the Gold Glover, and hope to soon be all-star for the Rockies. Boy, what a future this guy's got. He's still just a young man. Chris Russin hitting 8th in the lineup tonight will lead off for the Rockies. Swings the bat pretty well. Takes strike one from Hellickson.
13 at bats, a couple of hits, a run, an RBI in his career. 3 RBIs and 47 at bats with 6 hits.
Takes that pitch low, 1-1. Russin, we have seen with a good eye, puts the bunt down well. He's got a sacrifice bunt this year. Really enjoys hitting, unlike some pitchers. This guy relishes the opportunity to swing the bat. And he'll bounce that one up the middle, but right there, the shortstop, Ahmed. 1 down. Time now for the big hits presented by Maaco. Turn the car you drive into the car you love. A big hit for the Rockies. It was Charlie Blackmon, a solo home run. Only home run the Rockies hit that entire series in Oakland, and that was against the wind as well. Charlie really laced into that baseball. Wind was blowing in hard from right field. He still got the home run. That's our Maaco big hits. Charlie is on deck as Brandon Barnes is hitting. There's Charlie. Good solid first half for Blackmon as well. Charlie an all-star a year ago. Brandon Barnes first at bat tonight. And he'll hit that one at the end of his bat right to the first baseman Goldschmidt. He'll feed his pitcher. And 2 quick outs. And Blackmon will just take his time. Charlie will let Russin get in the dugout, catch his breath, and then get ready to pitch again. So Charlie will really take his time getting up to the plate. 2 outs and nobody on for the Rockies. Colorado 10 games under 500 coming in, 34-44. They've lost 5 of 8 to the D-backs this year, although they got 2 out of 3 in that last homestand. Rockies on the road now 17-22. At home they are 17-22. 2-4 so far in this trip. Blackmon first time up, fouled out to the shortstop. Hellickson looking to make it a 1-2-3 inning. Ball 1 to Blackmon. The only hit for the Rockies, that leadoff double by Arenado last inning, and they couldn't do anything with it.
Jerry, you mentioned the average or the record of 17-22, and it shows up with the Rockies on the road, 28th in runs scored. At home, you see her at Arizona nearly 4.74. That's what Arizona's doing at home. So the Rockies obviously out on the road need to score more runs. It's an old story.
Yeah,
just hit better on the road than they have at home.
So a lot of that last year, unfortunately, as well. Seem to be hot and cold on the road. He scored a bunch of runs one game and just can't seem to do anything the next couple. Now 3-1 to Charlie Blackmon. Walt Waste asked about it again the other day. He said, we can't take a different approach. We might try to manufacture some runs in some pitchers' ballparks, but you can't tell our players to go up there and change their approach at the plate. That one is hit to shallow right. It's going to be out number 3. Tomas coming in. Second baseman Owings out. He'll make the play. 1-2-3. Third inning for the Rockies. No score still. Back to Chase Field after these messages. not too long ago, these two teams hooked up in Denver, and the Rockies able to get the series victory in that series, 2-1. And George, lots of offense in Denver in that series.
8 home runs by 6 different Rockies. How about that? Nolan with 3 of those. 14 walks and 4 stolen bases, working the count. Nick Hundley was a big part of what went on in Denver. And along with DJ LeMahieu, who has the night off tonight. Lane hit one way up into the seats, gave away a souvenir there. High fives were everywhere in Denver. 2 out of 3, as you mentioned. Need to get it going here.
Paul Weiss especially happy with the 14 walks. He said we really worked the pitchers well in that series, and it showed.
If you look back in years, and this is, I don't know, been too many, 18, 19 years for me, that the teams that really did the damage at home, meaning the Rockies teams, really worked the counts. And the starting pitcher was over 100 pitches, and it was the 5th inning of the game. 6th inning of the game. They just battled and battled in that fashion.
Chris Owings, the second baseman, the hitter, and then the pitcher Hellickson on deck. 0-2 the count. He fouls that one away. Very talented young man Owings. He was drafted as a shortstop, but playing second base these days because of the emergence of Nick Ahmed. I feel like this guy, if he can stay healthy, he's had some health issues, he's really going to be a solid player for a long time. Gilbert, South Carolina. Russell's 0-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. First strikeout of the game for the Rockies left-hander.
Well, if you want a camping blanket, you better be one of the first 10,000 to the gates on July the 11th, all courtesy of Jeep. They'll be giving them away on that date at the ballpark. A little camouflage camping blanket.
I like it.
You like that, don't you?
Yes, sir. I like
Rockies.
camping and I like blankets.
There
I like the combination.
I do like a blanket when I'm camping.
Yes.
Rockies.com/promotions or 303 Rockies.
There's Hellickson. He swings the bat pretty well. He hasn't had many opportunities because in the American League you don't hit all that often anyway. Interleague play once in a while. But he enjoys swinging the bat. He's got a quick swing, but he swings right through that one. 1-1.
As a pitcher, your goal is always just to not look bad. You know, where you bail and you fall all over yourself and it's an ugly swing. An Al Leiter swing. Sorry, Al, if you're listening back in the studios. But that type of a swing. I think Leiter, did he ever have a hit? I'll have Sue look that up. I'm not sure.
Good question. Pretty good swing there. Fouled the fastball back.
Good opportunity now. Throw that nasty slider on the back foot and watch him spin around like a top and go to the dugout.
Nelson went up with a fastball there, try to get him to swing underneath it. D-backs coming in having lost 6 of their last 9 ball games. They just came off a series loss to Dodgers here. And that one's popped up. This might be playable. Ben Paulson is called off by Descalso, and Daniel will make the catch. 2 down. So back to top of the order here for the D-backs, and Nick Ahmed will hit. He has a base hit. The D-backs had 2 of those in the first inning, but they couldn't score. And since that time, it's been 6 in a row put down by Chris Russin.
31 pitches in the game so far for Chris. 23 of those for strikes. That's a result of 6 up, 6 down.
Looking sharp as the Rockies lefty. Ahmed singled in that first inning, nearly got picked off first base, then got picked off at second base. University of Connecticut product. Actually played a couple years with Scott Oberg, the Rockies bullpen guy. And they remain, he says, very good friends. Very, very good defensively is Nick Ahmed. Last year he was the D-backs defensive player of the year in the minors. They're saying these days the D-backs he has hit better than they expected him to hit this year. It's a fastball inside. Russin's pitch. That's popped up. Might be playable. Taking a look is Hundley. It's right near the dugout. Out of play. Well, the day after every Rockies win, get 50% off your online order at Papa John's. The promo code is ROXWIN, ROXWIN, at papajohns.com. That is the absolute favorite promotion for my 16-year-old son. After every win, he is ordering pizza, 50% off.
It's kind of your favorite, too, instead of the full price, right?
I don't mind that.
Mine, too.
I don't mind that. Russin working ahead of this hitter. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 outs, nobody on. 3rd inning. Missed with the breaker there. 2-2. Russin with that funky windup. The 2-2 pitch missed inside, so a full count.
Went in, just didn't want to go in that far on the 2-2 pitch. Not a bad idea, though. Repeat, go back to the same area.
Talked about the D-backs offense. They came into the game leading the National League in runs scored. 3 more total runs than the Rockies. That one hit to right. That's playable for Cargo. He'll lumber in a couple of steps. Out number 3. Another 1-2-3 inning for the Rockies and Chris Russin. To the 4th we go when we come back on Root Sports. Terrific so far, obviously. Troy Tulowitzki's going to lead off for the Rockies. With the roof closed, very pleasant. They had the roof open when a lot of folks got here, some of the workers today, and we were told very, very hot. 100 degrees down the field with the roof open. 45 minutes later, it was 80. This place cools off in a hurry when you close that roof. Tulo hit the ball hard his first time up, line to deep center field. He's going to keep that hitting streak going. He's hit 14 games. Single season career high for Troy. He'll take strike 1.
Yeah, that 4th strike zone appeared exactly from the frown on Troy's look out of the zone, and it was. But I mentioned when ahead in the count, Hellickson has an earned run average of 2.90. Behind in the count, nearly 10. So a call out of the zone like that can change a lot of things and set things up differently for a hitter and a pitcher.
Tulo has hit safely in 24 of his last 25 games. 381 batting average in that time. Best in baseball. Swings right through that one. Little sink to that fastball. 1-2. Came in with a 320 batting average. Good for 5th in the National League. Since May 29, a .400 batting average for Tulowitzki. Really warming up. He had that great start last year before the injury. He's picking it up. He's picking up where he left off last year, the last month of this year. 2-2.
A lot of pitchers try to take the ball away from Tulowitzki when they're ahead in the count. But it's typically a slider moving away from him to try to get him to chase. That was the fastball. But it was so low that Tulo's not going to offer with that upright stance.
Fouled away on a fastball again. Rockies tomorrow night will send Kyle Kendrick to the mound against Chase Anderson. Saturday, David Hale for the Rockies. We're not sure about the D-backs, but we're thinking Patrick Corbin might come back on Saturday, and then De La Rosa against De La Rosa on Sunday.
9-man bullpen for the Diamondbacks now with the option of Alan Webster.
On Sunday, Jorge De La Rosa against Ruby De La Rosa.
De La Rosa will win on Sunday.
And that missed outside. Full count to Tulowitzki.
Well, it just shows so much respect paid to Troy from the opposition's pitching staff that even on a 2-2 count, they're just scared to death to leave anything middle half in on the plate, particularly if it's elevated. They ask for that fastball away. They shake to it and shake away from it. Go to the changeup.
And he got out in front with that pitch and fouled it away. In yesterday's game in Oakland, Sonny Gray was supposed to start for the Oakland A's, but he had some horrible stomach issues. Actually ended up in the hospital, and he's likely to miss the next start while recovering from salmonella. How about that? Well, hospitalized with stomach ailment. Not surprised, I guess, it's salmonella. Nasty stuff. Didn't matter. The Rockies got beat anyway by another young good pitcher. Swinging and a miss by Tulo, strike 3. Now, with every challenge call, the Subaru Eyesight Review will determine the outcome. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. So far, no challenges for either manager Walt Weiss or Chip Hale on the D-back side. Carlos Gonzalez struck out his first time up. Swing and a miss by Gonzalez. Well, the D-backs, you can see wearing a different kind of uniform. It's Throwback Thursday. They're wearing the purple and teal alternate vest tops. They wore these from 1998 to 2006. So Throwback Thursday has them with their old unis on, if you hadn't noticed. I still kind of like them. I'm not crazy about the teal color, but the rest of it awful nice.
Now you want to talk about old school. Arizona's first Hall of Famer, Randy Johnson, 303, 166 losses, an earned run average of 3.29, covering 22 seasons. 5-time Cy Young Award winner, 10-time All-Star. You look at the number of strikeouts throughout his career, 4,875, second all-time. Struck out 20, tied a major league record in 2001.
And George, if I recall correctly, he threw hard. Is that accurate?
He threw really hard, like a ripe strawberry through a moving freight train.
Outside Gonzalez, 2-2.
He threw the radio ball. You could hear it, you just could never see it. I swear, the first time I saw Nolan Ryan in the Astrodome, which had poor lighting, I didn't see the ball the first 2 innings. I was sitting in the dugout and I looked at Kenny Reitz. I said, "Are you seeing that?" He goes, "I got to go hit." Why are you intimidating me any more than I already am?
2-2 is bounced to the right side against the shift. Second baseman Owings will make the play. Ellenson rolling along, as is Chris Russin. In the 4th inning, no score, and just a total of 3 hits between these two teams.
Movie night, it's back on Sunday, July 12th. All fans are invited to stay and watch The Rookie following the game versus the Braves. Purchase the movie night package to get access to the field for the movie and receive a special blanket for movie night. The Rookie.
Great movie, by the way. Love that one. Nolan Arenado has the Rockies' lone hit tonight, a leadoff double in the second inning.
By the way, I'd like to add that the first 5,000 will stick around for the movie tickets. They will get a blanket. The first 5,000, not all 54,000 at the game.
Gotcha. That's not the same camping blanket either.
No, different deal. Totally different
deal. Strike one on Arenado. 290 batting average with all the power numbers. Inside to him, 1-1. Shouldn't be terribly surprised. The minor leagues, 1 year Arenado led all the minor leagues in RBIs at 122 in a season.
That was in the California League when he played for the Modesto Nuts. He was California League Player of the Year. That fall was the Arizona Fall League Player of the Year. To think in that Fall League team, Dallas Keuchel, 10-game winner, probably going to start the American League in the All-Star game season. Trout was in that league. Harper was in that league. And the MVP is the guy standing at home plate.
Yeah, how about that? So many interesting aspects of Nolan and his career. I think one of them is the fact that he was a high school catcher for a while. It wasn't until his senior year where he switched to the infield. And the Rockies, when they drafted him, weren't sure about his defense. They thought he'd be a great hitter.
But his defense is the hitting part, I thought, has come along. In Tulsa, I think he made 27 or 28 errors on that season on a very good surface. And a lot of it is because Nolan got to a lot of balls other guys don't. And it might be an errant throw because he had to rush it after diving for a ball down the third base line. So you saw the instincts in the play even when he was playing at Double-A.
2-2 swing and a miss. The 1-2-3 inning for Hellickson. Pitchers are impressive so far. We're back in a moment. And the Zach Brown Band will have their concert tomorrow night, and Adam was able to send us that picture. And here's a time lapse of the stage being built. This is fascinating. It's quite a construction process, obviously, and a lot going into it. That's an all-day affair right there, putting that stage together for Zach Brown Band tomorrow at Coors Field. That's pretty cool. A.J. Pollock leads off for Arizona. No score in the bottom of the fourth inning. D-backs with a couple of hits. They both came in the first inning. Pollock fouled out his first time to the first baseman. And there's strike one to Pollock. Notre Dame product, great high school football player as well. He was the Gatorade High School Baseball Player of the Year in the state of Connecticut his senior year. Was going to play both football and baseball in college, but stuck to baseball, and I think he made the right choice.
We're still trying to figure out, I know I'll upset some people, but why would you want to play college football? Those guys are huge. I'd be the punter.
Chop that foul at the plate. You've been to the OU football games.
Absolutely.
There's just too much energy and passion and fun.
Oh, I know. I mean, I get
game.
all that. It is a great game, but I mean, goodness, those guys are big.
Yeah.
And they're getting bigger.
Bigger and stronger and faster.
Oh.
Russin eyeing his target. Here's his 1-2 pitch to Pollock. Swing and a miss. He got him.
Boy,
every speed again.
I'm telling you, everything down in the zone, working the bottom half, get him to chase out because he's ahead in the count.
First baseman,
I like the fact, George, that arm slot, arm speed's the same with every pitch with Russin.
You know, if you have that, another guy, I'd bring it up again, but Dallas Keuchel's evident of that. If you stay in that same arm slot, all the pitches look the same until they're about 2 feet in front of home plate. It's all coming out of the same angle.
He's got Goldschmidt with one out and nobody on. He had Goldschmidt with nobody on last time. Popped out, foul out of play. That was after Ahmed got picked off at second. One strike on Goldschmidt. Now with the base hit in the first inning, .352 batting average to lead baseball. What a hitter. What a great defensive player. Well, George mentioned that too. He's Gold Glove caliber at first. He's a wonderful teammate, great in the clubhouse. Whole package right here, Paul Goldschmidt.
0 for 2 against Chris in his early meetings when he was in a Cub uniform. That first hit, he's 1 for 3. Chris in an even count now with 1 out.
And he grounds out one, backhanded by Tulowitzki with that jump throw. Is it in time? Safe.
Goldschmidt with 15 stolen bases. He's only been caught 4 times. Tommy's on the phone checking to see if there will be a challenge by the Rockies.
That's about as good as you can do it right there. You want to skip that ball off the grass if you can. It kind of caught the dirt a little bit, may have slowed it down.
Now get one more look at this. Tulo with that long, hard throw. And remember, Goldschmidt runs very well. Let's check and see if it gets to the glove. I can't tell. I think he is safe, but just by a little bit.
Tommy Ronald's a bench coach, making sure that it shouldn't be challenged.
Well, you can see Ben Paulson takes the throw back to him. If he reaches out, which it's difficult because you're trying to receive the ball on the hop. Todd Helton was so good at stretching and reaching to the baseball and getting the out. If he's able to reach and stretch, Goldschmidt's out.
So Goldschmidt 2 for 2, couple of singles. He's at first for Yasmani Tomas. And to pull that one foul. Tomas, a big, strong guy. He's 6'2", 255 pounds. I mean, he's put together quite well, and he's got a really quick bat at the same time. It's a good combination, is what actually drew the D-backs to this guy as a free agent out of Cuba. A lot of folks thought he might go to an American League team to DH, but he has found a spot in the outfield, it appears, these days.
Now that was the question mark. He tried him at third base at the start of spring training, and it became evident he couldn't play there. They put him in left field. Didn't seem to get very good reads on the baseball, so that's when they moved him to right. It seemed much more relaxed in right field.
He had played there before. He had played around the infield. He had played first and third and corner outfield spots in his pro career in Cuba. Gonna let this one to center. Charlie Blackmon going back, but Charlie's going to have room. On the edge of the track, he will make the catch in a long way. That's a lot of distance out there to center to get the ball out. It's a long out number 2. Now, you're following Root Sports on social media, from player and team stats to trivia and behind-the-scenes photos. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest on Rockies all season long. Root Sports. 2 outs with Goldschmidt at first base for Chris Russin. 3 hits in the game for Arizona, 2 of those for Goldschmidt. Willington Castillo, the catcher. There's a former National League Rookie of the Year. Did it with the Cubs a few years back. Snap throw this time, and back is Goldschmidt. As George said, this guy can run. He runs a lot better than you think he might for that size. And Paulson holding the runner, Goldschmidt. Pitch in there for a strike.
Very good off-speed pitch. And even though Goldschmidt made a leap towards second, he also, when he hit the ground, leaped back towards first. That deceptive move that Jerry described of Chris's early in the ball game.
D-backs picking up Castillo, adding some catching depth, and he's pretty much the everyday catcher these days.
And has responded. 268 in a Diamondback uniform.
Way inside, good stop by Hundley. 1-1.
Anytime you're a left-hander and you're able to get a guy, get his original lead, and you can see when he picks up that one lean with the left knee back towards the bag, you've got it won. And even with 2 outs, it plays a big role, because now if you get him to take the step back or the weight shift back, it helps for the force at second with 2 outs, so you don't have to take the distance across the infield.
Swing and a miss. Big cut taken by Castillo. Came up empty. Russin's got him down 1-2. Bottom of the 4th, no score. Russin trying to set him down again. He had a 1-2-3 second, a 1-2-3 third. 1 out single to Goldschmidt in this inning. D-backs longtime backstop was Miguel Montero, now playing for the Cubs. And here's a former Cub, Castillo, in his spot. Pitches inside, 2-2. Third different team this year for Castillo. Seattle, the Cubs, and Arizona. As George said, hitting much better in this Arizona uniform. This is a hitter's ballpark, so that helps a little bit too, but they really like the way he's swinging the bat, especially driving in some runs. 2-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. He got him on the upper end of the strike zone. And Russin with another strikeout, 2 in the inning. We'll head to the 5th. There's still no score. Back in a moment on Root Sports. Thursday night in the deserts. Let's look at our first bank game recap. The first 4 innings of this one, and the pitchers have been the story. Just about identical numbers with Chris Russin and Jeremy Hellickson. 4 shutout innings so far, both about the same number of pitches, about the same number of strikeouts. 3 hits off of Russin and just 1 off of Jeremy Hellickson. That was a double by Nolan Arenado. Hellickson hits the mound again. He'll face Ben Paulson first. Paulson, Hundley, and Descalso for the Rockies. Ben struck out his first time. Well, these Rockies have seen Jeremy Hellickson, so maybe the second time through the order, a little better look for him. We'll see what happens. Low and outside, ball 1 to Ben Paulson. Ben playing all 3 games in Oakland with Rosario as the DH in all 3 of those games. That one hit well to center field, chasing Pollock back, but he's going to catch up to this one. A lot of room out there. Long out number 1.
Third ball in the game that's been hit to dead center field. Troy Tulowitzki, it flew off of his bat, died at the warning track. Now Ben Paulson and Tomas for the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Ben got that one a little bit off the end of the bats. Nick Hundley next. Nick with that batting average over 300 most a year, dipped down now to 296. Walt Weiss talking about his catcher before the game, saying really impressed with his hitting. They knew the kind of defensive catcher he can be, the kind of guy that can handle pitchers, but the bat, he said, had been a bonus for him. Strike 1.
You see what he's done the last 3 months. It's been very steady, very level with the 6 home runs. Not a lot of RBIs, but hit mostly 8th in the month of April. Then as he climbed up that order, and as the back of the middle of the order started to get hot and get base hits, he all of a sudden got hot and started driving in a lot of runs.
And a guy that surprised you once in a while with that pop he's got in his bat. He can hit the ball the other way for a home run. He's got a couple of those this year.
Against the Arizona Diamondbacks, crushed the ball. 6 for 17 with 6 RBIs.
Home run against Aroldis Chapman earlier this year, too. That's not easy to do. He pulls that one foul.
Come enjoy the best fireworks show in town on Friday, July 10th, courtesy of Coca-Cola and King Soopers. Tickets are going quickly. Get yours today. Fireworks, always a wonderful night at the ballpark at Coors Field. 303 Rockies, Rockies.com/fireworks.
1-2 pitch on the way to Nick Hundley. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hellickson with a windup. Very slow delivery. Here it is, and it's hit to right field. That could be extra bases. It's going to roll to the corner. Nick Hundley digging for 2. Tomas with the ball will toss in, and that's a stand-up double for Nick Hundley. The Rockies have 2 hits. They are both doubles in the ball game, and a chance to get on the board for the Rockies in the inning.
13th double for Nick, the first of Arenado double in right center field. This double down the right field line, an inside out swing by Hundley puts the ball down into that corner in right field. EY sending him toward to second base. Now see if the Rockies can take advantage of this.
Nice job of hitting going the other way for Hundley, which, as we mentioned, he does that very well. Daniel Descalso next. He struck out first time. Rockies looking to break a scoreless tie in the 5th. Descalso will swing and foul that out of play. So 3 hits for the D-backs, 2 for the Rockies. Only 3 men total have been left on base. The D-backs left 2 in the first inning, and the Rockies have left 1 so far in the game. That was Arenado. Hellickson wants those signs going through again by his catcher. Scalzo pretty good with runners in scoring position. Has a walk-off single as a pinch hitter this year. At Coors Field back in May. The pitch. Hit that one to center. And that's playable for Pollock. He will make the grab, and back to second base goes Nick Hundley. You know, the Rockies today make a roster move. Rafael Inoa has been sent down, option at AAA Albuquerque, and Drew Stubbs is back with the team. And talking about Stubbs, the manager was before the game, and said that Drew had gotten his confidence back, got the swing back, not striking out as much in the minors, and here he is back with the big club. And there's a look at the very talented Texan Drew Stubbs.
He's a big league baseball player.
Yep.
And I think once your confidence gets shaken, I don't care who you are, it takes time to recover that. In his last 10 games, he's hit over 300.
And a line drive base hit to left center field from Russin. That's going to score the run. Hundley will trot home, and Chris Russin helping himself with an RBI single. 1-0 Rockies.
Second RBI of the season for Nick, for Chris, as Nick Hundley comes in to score for the Rockies to put him on top. A big 2-out base hit by the pitcher, Chris Russin.
So an opposite field double for Hundley and an opposite field single for Russin.
It's a total mistake by Hellickson. He left that ball up on the zone, and you mentioned how athletic Chris is, and he took advantage of this. On a ball up, nice smooth swing, stayed behind it. The dugout liked it the minute it left the bat to drive in Nick Hundley to put him on top 1-0. Have a night.
Almost got by Pollock. That could have been extra bases.
And
Now
Chris runs well.
Brandon Barnes, 2 outs. The Rockies have been a good team driving in runs with 2 outs, and tonight they get another one. Barnes looking to bunt. Pulled the bat back and took in the dirt for ball 1. Paulson flied out in the inning. Hundley doubled. Descalso flied out. Then Chris Russin comes through with a single. Both teams have 3 hits. Russell will take a very short lead from first base. No sense in not being conservative here if you're Russin at first. Just step back to the bag. 28 years of age now, Jeremy Hellickson. Drafted out of high school by the Rays. One-0 to Barnes. Drop in there for a strike. Went off speed with that curveball.
This sounds crazy, but by having Barnes hit 9th, I go back to 1985 when Don Zimmer gave me the stolen base sign at first. And about halfway down to second, they had the ball, so I called timeout. The reason they wanted to do that was to have Bobby Denier lead off the next inning with a 1-0 lead. When you have speed at Barnes, it sounds crazy, but if you happen to get to the point where Chris is out, it's the 3rd out, now you've got speed at Barnes, speed at Charlie to start your 5th inning off with.
Very interesting.
You would not coach that, I don't think.
I don't think I'd coach that. I wouldn't even have thought of that, let him coach that.
When they gave me the steal sign, I was like, are you crazy?
Just call time. And
I did. Halfway down, they caught it. No, halfway down, they caught the ball, and I looked at their shortstop, and I called timeout.
Did you really?
Yeah, the umpire said, you can't have it now.
1-2 pitch to Barnes. Ground ball to second base. Should end the inning, and that will do it. But the Rockies able to get on the board in the 5th inning. Chris Russin coming through, helping himself with an RBI single. 1-0 Colorado. Escape. Smart, safe, and fun to drive. Ford Escape. Go further. By Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Beautiful night here in Phoenix. A little bit of a breeze outside. We dipped under 100 degrees, we are told now. 1-0 Rockies have the lead. Bottom of the 5th inning. Chris Russin with an RBI single in the top of this frame. Back on the mound to get warmed up and trying to keep a good thing going against the D-backs.
I like the way he's pacing his breathing on the mound after just running the bases. And, you know, it was an easy force at second base, but he busted it all the way into second base with a very good slide. And I think a lot of guys don't think about that or actually use that. He's faced 14 batters, 11 first pitch strikes so far for Chris in this ball game. He'll start to deal with the bottom half. Hill, Peralta, and Owings here in the bottom half of the 5th inning.
Struck out Aaron Hill his first time up looking. Chris Russin, University of Kentucky with the Cubs up and down a couple of different years. Had a couple of starts against his D-backs, won them both. So this is start number 3. First in a Rockies uniform against his team. And Aaron Hill takes strike 1 with a breaking ball. Aaron Hill 223 on the year, but just beat up the Rockies. Not only this year, but in his career. 8 for 22 against the Rockies this year. And that one off the end of his bat. Racing in is Barnes. He calls up Tulowitzki and makes the catch. He had to come a long way without a great jump, but Brandon Barnes makes the play.
When you have a big swing the way Aaron Hill does, you respect his power, so your first instinct is to freeze, get a read on the baseball, and without Brandon Barnes' speed, it probably would have been a more difficult play.
One down, and left-handed hitting David Peralta. Voted the D-backs Rookie of the Year a year ago after merging. After 4 years in the Cardinals organization as a pitcher. And George said it, he played independent baseball, got noticed by playing for the Wichita Wingnuts in the independent league.
Big ballpark, sits right on the river in Wichita. For you fans that have gone there from Colorado back to watch the Boulder Collegians and teams that played in the I think it was a double NBC at that time. Mosquito Haven in the middle of this summer.
Oh, yes. Wichita, Kansas. Been there many
All
times.
the outfielders never had to run to their position. They just get picked up by mosquitoes, dropped off.
3-0, now 2-1, I should say, is the count on Peralta. And he'll ground that one up the middle against his shift. That's in the left center field for a base hit. He might try for 2. He will not. Charlie Blackmon fires it back in. The Rockies put the shift on. That time it was broken by the hitter Peralta going the other way. Pretty good pitch. Got him off the handle of the bat, but found the opening.
Well, I think that's the whole result of that base hit. The ball jammed him so bad, Jerry, that he just fought it off. I don't know that he was intentionally trying to go to the opposite field. Another look at the pitch. That fastball rode in. He tried to get his hands inside. Really tried to just take it, fight the pitch away after once he committed to it.
Chris Owings, strikeout victim his first time up. One down, man at first. Wilson's pitch in there, strike 1 with a fastball. Owings, a second-round draft pick a few years ago by the D-backs. He had committed to play college baseball at South Carolina before being drafted. He's got that great move going home this time and swung on and missed by Owings. 0-2. He got Ahmed playing short. This guy, Owings, is shortstop by nature as well. And then the D-backs drafted a shortstop, #1 overall in the draft this year. And they're saying, hey, we know we got some good young shortstops already, but we couldn't pass on the guy we took. And the Rockies took a shortstop in the first round as well. I think both these teams very happy with their picks. And an 0-2 pitch. Nope, to first base. Plenty of time for Pearl to get back to the bag.
His move faked you out also. Thought he was coming home, didn't you?
That doesn't take much.
No, with your stolen base abilities, come on. I've heard all the stories. Nice pick.
Russin likes to work third base side of the pitching rubber from the stretch. Here's his 0-2. And they slow it in. D-backs have lost 2 in a row at home. Their last 3-game home losing streak, got to go way back to late April to find. They have not played particularly well at home. They're 19-20, but they've never won a bunch in a row, never lost a bunch in a row. Just hovering around 500 at home all year. Just off the end of his bat, caught a piece of that one. 19-20 at home and 18-21 on the road this year, the D-backs. Hanging around the division, 37-41. Chip Hale is their first-year manager.
7 games back where they've played well, where the Rockies have not, has been in the West. The Diamondbacks 21-22, the Rockies 16-24. That's the difference.
Chip Hale, last 3 years bench coach with the Oakland A's. And a lot of time, 10 years before that with this same organization, now back with the D-backs. 1-2. Just caught a piece of that one rolling up the third base side. They let it go. It's a foul ball. Grabbed by Rustin and foul ground. So this is a first-year manager here in Arizona, Chip Hale. Here are the others. There are plenty of them. And success, George, for Paul Molitor, Kevin Cash, Jeff Bannister with Texas. His team having a good year. We want Jennings and Counsell.
The 2 big surprises, Texas. Nobody thought they were at the injuries to their pitching staff. Bannister's done a good job there. The other was Craig Counsell taking over for Renicky. They thought the Brewers, who were first place for 5 months last year, would be much better than what they are. And Dan Jennings taking from the general manager's position to the manager's position. And they're getting a little more healthy. Fernandez pitched today for the big ball club after Tommy John surgery.
All those managers.
Now Chip Hale put his former twin infielder, has put his time in at the minor league level, all the way from rookie ball to AAA, then as a bench coach.
About every spot you can find as a coach for 10 years with this organization. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Owings down on strikes for the second time of the game. Almost the same pitch you got him with last time.
Make a pitch when you have to. That's exactly what he's been able to do. And he makes a very good pitch here to get him to chase on the breaking ball. With 2 outs here in Phoenix in the bottom of the 5th inning. And a report out of Albuquerque that John Gray, 6 innings, 6 hits, 9 strikeouts in the ball game. He walked 3, gave up 3 runs. And trails in the game 3-2. Justin Marks for Reno went 5 2/3. That's the Arizona Diamondbacks AAA ball club.
Still think, George, good possibility of seeing Jonathan Gray at some point?
I would think so at some point. I mean, he's had one little hiccup out of the last 12 starts. He's thrown well.
Jeremy Hellickson with 2 outs, a man at first base. Popped out to second base first time up. Fouled that one away. It's 0-2. In 64 pitches, 46 for strikes in this game. And his counterpart right here at the plate, just about that same mark. 2 young pitchers, a righty for the D-backs, lefty for the Rockies, have been impressive. Oh, 2 pitch. And that hit Jeremy Hellickson.
You got to erase the mistake out of your mind. I mean, Chris is very upset now because he's got 2 outs and an 0-2 count on the pitcher. And he just overamped a cutter. That's all it was. But get over that and go right after the next one. Caught him right on the thigh. You don't want it to turn into a big inning because your thought process is back on the pitcher on an 0-2 count and getting hit with a pitch.
Watching that replay, the ball hit Hellickson, then it hit the catcher Hundley too. Caught a piece of Nick. I think that's the conversation, don't you, George? Hey, you got to get this guy now.
Exactly.
Forget about that mistake.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Let's go ahead and get after this guy, and we'll worry about the other later. Fans, All-Star voting ends today, so be sure that you vote for your favorite Rockies All-Stars. Vote 35 times on 2015 Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot exclusively at Rockies.com. And don't miss the 86th All-Star Game on July 14th. Coverage starts at 5 p.m.
So 2 on, 2 out for Nick Ahmed. The base hit and the fly ball out to right against Russin. Swings and foul tips that one, strike one. So many times that young pitchers at this level, really any level, you see a play like that where you hit the opposing pitcher and then the floodgates seem to open up.
Absolutely, because your thought process, you're sitting back here thinking, oh man, I had an 0-2 count. I should be sitting in a dugout. Instead, here I am in a pressure situation with a runner at second base and 2 outs, and their leadoff man, one of the hottest guys on their ball club, Ahmed. So this is where you make the pitch. He's ahead in the count, 0-1.
An 0-1 pitch to Ahmed. He's under his hands for a ball, high and tight, 1-1.
Keep you honest pitch right there. I like that.
Another thing you do as a pitcher, you start thinking, now my pitch count's going up when it didn't need to after hitting the guy. All those things you try to put out of your head and execute a pitch to get the next hitter. See if Russin can do that. And that one hit to right center. Charlie Blackmon racing over. Charlie's got room though. Makes a catch, and Russin comes back with a good pitch to get out number 3 in the 5th. 6th inning upon us when we come back. And let's check our CenturyLink to what's coming up next. Brought to you by CenturyLink. Tomorrow night, it'll be game 2 of the series. Kyle Kendrick gets his start for the Rockies, and Chase Anderson, who's pitched very well against the Rockies a couple of times this year, the starter on the D-back side. So good matchup tomorrow night. Couple of right-handers, a veteran and a younger guy with Chase Anderson. Jeremy Hellickson hitting the mound for the D-backs. As you look at the pitcher comparison, George, boy, just about even in this ball game. The Rockies with that 1 run.
That's the big difference right there. 69 pitches for both of these pitchers have worked through 5 innings now, and the Rockies were going to have the top of their order now with Charlie Blackmon leading it off and being able to hopefully get Chris a few more.
Well, here's a tweet from Corey Dickerson, who currently has an injured list for the Rockies. And Corey saying, opportunity to be with the kids at Children's Hospital in Colorado. And Corey does a lot of very quiet charity work, and that's part of it, the work with Children's Hospital in Denver. He's an outstanding player, an outstanding young man off the field as well, Corey Dickerson. I hope at some point Corey's back on this roster and healthy and contributing. Let's hope that's sooner than later. Whoever it is doing much better with the foot and the plantar fasciitis. Top of the order for the Rockies. Charlie Blackmon leads it off. Blackmon, Tulowitzki, and Gonzalez. 1-0 Rockies. Been out hit. The Rockies have 4-3, but have the 1-0 lead. Low and in ball 1 to Blackmon. Charlie has popped out twice. Once to short, once to second. Hellickson will throw that pitch inside and pulled by Charlie Blackmon, foul. So they're making sure that bat's not cracked. 0-2. Check it. 1-1 on Blackmon. Very good hitter against the D-backs over the years. Charlie Blackmon had a year last year where he hit almost 400 against this team. 355 for his career. Looking for a base hit here. 1-1 pitch. Looking at bunt. Puts it up the third base side. Hellickson grabs. Sidearm throw to first. A beauty.
That's the athleticism you talked about, Jerry, that he has. The ability to get off the mound bare hand and really from right above the grass line, fire to first with something on it and get Charlie Blackmon. I thought base hit the whole way.
Hellickson won a Gold Glove in the American League with the Rays. You can see why. Boy, great play there. Didn't panic. It's a good throw, underhand at the same time, barehanded the ball. And that's pretty. Charlie Blackmon thought he had a base hit there.
What do you think the average runner, speed-wise, runs up the first baseline? 20 miles an hour? 15 miles an hour?
I would say probably 20, yeah.
Yeah, and you're throwing a ball 70. Yeah. You can make up a lot of ground. Where pitchers make mistakes when they start to rush things and make the errant throw.
Troy Tulowitzki takes a pitch high. Troy is lined to center and struck out tonight. Batting average 318 and a 14-game hitting streak on the line. Top of the 6th, 1-0 Rockies. And that missed. Hitters count now for Tulo, 2-0. And George had mentioned it last time out. Hellickson got roughed up pretty good. 7 runs allowed, 5 1/3 against the Padres, but he's bounced back well tonight so far. Troy, very good hitter against the D-backs this year, especially. In there for strike one, off speed on 2-0. And for just a moment, shift was put on by the D-backs on the infield, and now Owings has walked back behind second base on the right field side of it. He was on the left field side a moment ago.
Off speed pitch, saw the pitch, made a couple of steps over to try to cover the middle.
Now 2-1. Swing and a miss by Tulo.
Change up at 81. In a very good location. When you don't have an overpowering fastball, it's all about being able to make pitches and vary your speeds off your fastball, change up, and curveball. Hellickson's done a pretty good job of that. Chris has done a better job.
Throw that hard, there's not much margin for error, and you're going to take advantage of every opportunity you get to execute. That one's in the dirt. Full count to Troy Tulowitzki. Rockies in the middle of a 10-game, 10-day road trip. Started in San Francisco, across the bay to Oakland, 4 here in Arizona before going home. Monday, a day off for the Rockies. Much welcomed, I'm sure, come Sunday night. Payoff pitch. Hellickson to Tulowitzki. Swing and a miss. He got him again. Started 2-0 on Tulowitzki, threw him 4 straight off-speed pitches.
Yeah, the last 2 a changeup. This one a little more in the bottom of the zone, but yet probably would have been called a strike. Tulo out in front of it, not anticipating that in that count. That's what makes a separation for the guys. I asked a National League scout the other day, how many pitchers average above 93 miles an hour as a starting pitcher? Out of, say, 170 that will get to the big leagues, maybe even 200 over their start. Where how many guys average that? He said probably 15,
really,
maybe 20. There's a lot of those guys that are the 88 to 92 mile an hour pitchers, but they have the secondary stuff to go with it.
And that 88 to 92 has movement and placement, I'm sure, too.
All about command and putting the ball where you want to. That's the separator.
Cargo looking for his first hit. He struck out and grounded out. 1-1. Going back to spring training, of course, that happened here in this Phoenix area for the Rockies in Scottsdale. But talk was, hey, if Cargo and Tulo can stay healthy, look out. Well, they have stayed healthy. Ground ball, that's into the shift. Out in shallow right is Owings. And that's out number 3. Shift pays off for the D-backs. Middle of 6, 1-0 Rockies. Talked about his love for his family, his faith, and the art on his body. Also hear from his teammates about the energy that only Brandon Barnes can bring both on and off the field. That's all this week on Rockies Real Time. Tomorrow after the game. Yep, quite an interesting character, Brandon Barnes. About as nice a guy as you're going to come across. See all those tattoos he was showing us in the clubhouse the other day, the new ones that he had this year that are very interesting. One in tribute to his grandmother. Brandon with that infectious energy as he plays this great game of baseball. The day off yesterday, we saw Rafael Noah in left, and Barnes back out there tonight in game 1 of this series. A.J. Pollock leads off for the D-backs. Outside ball 1 to him. Pollock is popped out and struck out against Russin tonight.
70 pitches so far for Chris in this ball game. 48 of that been strikes.
Pollock will hit that one well to left field. That's got a chance to go. Barnes going back. Tie game. 10th home run this year for A.J. Pollock.
I know it's tough to give up the lone run, particularly a leadoff on a breaking ball that stayed up in the zone. But Chris has done his job in this game. Think about it, just 1 run given up on 5 hits in this game. And this is one of the deeper parts, left center field, about 420 feet from home plate. He's ahead of Paul Goldschmidt, 0-1.
You saw the strike box there. That ball was right in the middle of the plate. George said a hanging curveball, and we're tied up. Goldschmidt has 2 hits, 2 singles tonight. He'll swing through that one, 0-2. Austin trying to bounce back after that leadoff home run. Goldschmidt here. Tomas is on deck. Pitch count not a problem. That's just 72 pitches. And we're in the 6th inning. Think about this D-backs lineup. There's power up and down it. They are 5th in the National League in home runs. They're 1st in runs scored, but they have one guy that hits a lot besides Goldschmidt, but a bunch that can hit double figures in a season, and now Pollock is there with 10.
Wow.
That just
wow.
missed.
What a pitch. If it's anybody but Paul Goldschmidt, it's probably strike 3, Jerry. I mean, he put this exactly where he wanted. Chris made the turn, waiting on the throw to come around. Had to retrieve it back from Nick Hundley.
And that one missed. It's 3-2 to Goldschmidt. He's a tough guy to get to swing at something out of the strike zone, Goldschmidt. George mentioned earlier, got a great eye at the plate. Now payoff pitch. That's hit well to center. Blackman started in, now going back. He's going to get it. That's a long out, number 1. First time that tonight Goldschmidt has been retired. Now here's Yasmani Tomas, who is hit into fielder's choice and flied to center tonight. Down, nobody on for the D-backs with that run in. Way outside, ball 1. I like about the offense with the D-backs leading the league in runs coming in. Their pitching hasn't been quite as consistent. 4.31 team ERA. That's 12th highest in the National League. The Rockies have the highest. They're 15th. Swing and a miss by Tomas. But they feel like they're getting their pitching together for the second half, getting a little bit healthier. Talking about perhaps Patrick Corbin starting on Saturday against the Rockies in Game 3. Their bullpen has been inconsistent, but it's starting to come around a little bit. They feel like the D-backs can make a move in the second half of the year. 2-hopper to first base. Ben Paulson will take care of business. 2 down.
Rockies fans, the new Stars and Stripes caps and jerseys are at the local dugout stores right now. Rockies dugout stores are the place for all Rockies with the best selection of Rockies merchandise and tickets. Rockies.com/dugout stores or dial 303-832-TEAM or 8326.
2 outs, nobody on. Wellington Castillo, the catcher. Ball 1 to him inside. One bad pitch. A.J. Pollock with a home run, and that really has been about it. I don't think that Russett's happy about hitting Hellickson, but otherwise, boy, a terrific game tonight he has thrown. That pitch is in the dirt, so 2-0 to Castillo. He's kept the D-backs off balance. He has not walked anybody, although he does have the hit batsman. Had his share of strikeouts. Chris Russin's been terrific. 2-0 pitch. That missed. 3-0. Just the second 3-0 count tonight issued by Chris Russin. Let's see if he can come back on Castillo. 3-0 taken for a strike. 3 balls and 1 strike on the veteran catcher Wellington Castillo.
And velocity didn't back off of it. He went to 89 miles an hour, which he typically throws at between that 88 to 90, 91 range. Got a very good location though.
3 1s in the dirt. There's his first walk tonight. Now getting out the veteran Aaron Hill with 2 outs, a runner at first base. He's got Hill twice. He's got him a strikeout, hit a lazy fly ball to left field. Interesting story and background with Aaron Hill. At age 15, he was driving to a soccer tournament in the caravan. Mother was behind him, and mother in a car accident was killed at the age of 15. He did not have a mother, Aaron Hill, and he's got some memorabilia and some things that he has dedicated with his glove and his hat to his mother over the years. It's a pretty interesting story. Talking about Corey Dickerson doing humanitarian work. This guy does the same here in Phoenix. Lives here year round, Aaron Hill. 1 ball, 1 strike.
So many more players are starting to move here to Arizona.
Yep.
Because of so many spring training sites, and it's just 8 more weeks at home in your house compared to leaving the home, leaving the kids behind, your wife, they're in school. A number of issues pop up.
Well, it's pretty darn good weather in the wintertime here. In the
Not bad. Not bad.
We so much enjoy coming down here for spring training with that wonderful complex the Rockies have. Some of the coaches and the trainers were out there today at the complex, Salt River Fields and Talking Stick, watching and helping out some of the younger players. 2-1 with Aaron Hill, and the pitch to him. Swing and a miss. Good movement on the pitch there. 87-mile-an-hour cutter, 2-2.
Chris is due up, 5th in the lineup. So you'd want him to finish the 6th inning, and if you work your way down through there, it comes to his turn to hit, and they have to go to the bench. You want him to have that chance to win a ball game.
Sure.
You want him, and there's nobody up in the Rockies bullpen. It's his inning to get out of.
88 pitches thrown. 2-2 pitch to Hill. Blowing in. Full count. Runner will be moving from first base. He's worked Aaron Hill inside this whole at bat. And on deck is David Peralta.
See, the thing about this, you've got Polson playing behind the runner at first base. The only thing that ever comes into my mind or thinks why is that I'd want to hold the runner as tight as I could because Hill's a doubles and a home run hitter. You don't want them to get a head start. It's not going to matter. Now shoot.
Oh, and Arenado boots the ball at third base.
You won't see that often. His 8th of the year. Sometimes they make the most difficult plays in the game and come up with the hardest plays. And then sometimes the 4 hoppers are the ones that eat you up. I'm not sure if this ball didn't hit something either. Nolan's got the top hand covered. It hits the finger side of the glove and then off to the thumb. Watch as it comes forward. Hit right on the heel, popped out. Nolan checked the runner, went to get the ball, but it basically fell out of the end of his glove when he was going to make that throw.
I think if he picks that ball up,
he's out.
Yeah, I think he's got the play. Just couldn't hang on to it with the glove the second time. I think he looked up to see where Hill was and couldn't secure it. Steve Foster, the pitching coach, had come out the mound as Walt Weiss paces the dugout. 2 on, 2 out in the 6th inning. And the Rockies look like they might be getting some bullpen action started now. And they are.
Looks like Scott Oberg's the guy getting up and starting to throw.
The hitters, Peralta, lefty on lefty. And a pitch right in there, strike 1. Good spot on that one. Single and a ground out for this slugger, David Peralta. And the D-backs, a man in scoring position. They can break the 1-1 tie. The pitch is pulled fair down the right field side. That'll score at least 1. Banging off the sidewall, Cargo's got it. And no relay throw. That's a 2-run triple for David Peralta. Oh, the walk fouled by the air has come back to bite the Rockies. 3-1 Arizona.
Now, nobody feels worse right now than Nolan Arenado, who is obviously so sure-handed at third base. This ball, inside fastball. Peralta cleared the front side out of the way, gets the top hand through the ball, shoots it right by Ben Paulson down into the corner, fair by about 6 inches as Fielding Colbreth calls it that. Excuse me, Mark Gonzalez at first base, or Manny Gonzalez at first base, the umpire. So now they'll go ahead and walk Chris Owings to have first and third and get Hellickson to the plate.
The inning starts with a home run, then 2 quick outs had by Chris Russin, but then the walk to Castillo and the error on Arenado with Aaron Hill led to the 2-run triple. Some real tough luck for Chris Russin. And there's ball 4. Owings is intentionally walked. Hellickson will go ahead and hit. No pinch hitter here for Jeremy Hellickson.
Not the way he's handled the Rockies batting the order so far. The Rockies have 1 run on 3 hits in the ball game. They've only left 2 men on, so Hellickson will get to swing the bat.
First time up, popped out, then got hit by the pitch in the 5th inning. This is the 8th hitter in this inning for the D-backs. Russin's pitch hit foul off the end of his bat down the right field side. Strike 1 on Jeremy Hellickson. Now you look up and you see 1 run on 3 hits given up by Hellickson. You got to keep him in the ball game.
No question.
He's pitching a little differently than he is tonight. You pinch hit for him here, but yeah, keep him rolling. 0-1 pitch, low and in, and a step out of the way of that one.
The Rockies will have Arenado, Paulson, and Hundley due up in the top of the 7th inning.
This will be pitch number 99 for Chris Rustin. Long inning for him here after cruising along in the first 5. And it's chopped foul. Now he's ahead. Ball and 2 strikes from his counterpart, Jeremy Hellickson.
The only mistake Hellickson has made was to Chris Rustin when he got the ball up. And he was able to hit a 2-out base hit single to drive in Nick Hundley.
As we talked about, he swings a bat well. He's got the 3 RBIs this year. 5 for 25 at the plate. And the 1-2. Got him. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Damage done, though, by the D-backs. They scored 3 times. They've taken a 2-run lead. 3-1 after 6. And they look good on you, by the way.
A lot better than hot, right?
Yes, exactly.
A lot better than hot. Well, hopefully the Rockies with Arenado and Polson coming up get something going. Hundley with the double. I know they'll probably have to go to the bullpen and pinch hit here. But you would hope at this point against Hellickson, you've been able to see him now 3 times through, that you start putting some damage against.
I know as a former pitcher, you can appreciate the job both of these guys have done tonight.
Well, great job. I thought Chris did a wonderful job for the Rockies. I mean, the error cost him, but if you go back and look at the one side of it, how many plays does Nolan make to save you? That list is way up here, and the ones that cost you are way down here. And it's unfortunate with 2 outs that the ball just didn't stick in the glove and able to make the play. But as a pitcher, you want to pick up that defense and make a pitch behind him to get out of it. And when I was unable to do that, left on left with Peralta.
I'm sure Nolan Arenado's thinking, all right, I'm going to make up for that with my bat here, perhaps. Let's see what he can do.
There's another Arenado, Jonah Arenado, playing in the Giant organization at Augusta in the Sally League, Nolan's little brother. 270, 6 home runs and 38 RBIs, 6'3", 195-pound third baseman.
He's playing well.
He's playing very well.
So Arenado here, then Paulson and Hundley against Hellickson, who has thrown 81 pitches. Boy, he's been terrific against the Rockies so far. There have been some hard-hit balls for the Rockies, but they have been outs. And the 2 hits, or 2 of the 3 have been extra bases. A double by Arenado in the 2nd inning, and then a double by Hundley. Russell knocked the run in with the 5th inning RBI single. Last time up, Arenado struck out against Hellickson. He lit this one, but got underneath it, left field. Peralta settles under that, and 1 down. And it's time now for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag RMDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It is brought to you by T-Mobile. Chase Field in downtown Phoenix, right across the way, U.S. Airways Arena, where the Phoenix Suns play. As Ben Paulson steps in and takes strike 1 from Hellickson. And is 0 for 2 tonight. Hellickson's had the Rockies off balance for sure. Shift is on in the infield for Ben Paulson. There are 3 on the right side of the diamond for the D-backs. There they are. The one, that's Owings, playing like the rover out there in right. It's paid off a couple of times. They've got cargo to hit in that shift. And that's down low. 1 ball, 1 strike on Paulson. Maybe not quite the beard that Charlie Blackmon has, but it's getting there for Paulson. 1-1 delivery. Chopped off the plate. Hellickson will run that down and get the bag himself just ahead of Ben Paulson. There's the athleticism we're talking about with Hellickson. He had to run a long way to get the ball and then run to the base at the same time. 2 outs. The old 1 unassisted, George, right there.
You don't see that very often, do you? Yeah, another high chop. Look, he's going to grab it. Uh-oh, where'd everybody go? Why do I got to do this?
Yeah, that's kind of the way it looked, too. He looked up, and there was nobody there.
Man, oh, man, you're looking around like, uh-oh. A lot of times as a pitcher, you'll sprint over the top of the bag to get the runner to slow down. Ben wasn't slowing down.
Yep. You make the decision as a pitcher, do I run through the bag and touch it, or do I stop at it? And he stopped at it. So 2 outs. Nick Hundley, who has doubled and grounded out tonight. Doubled down the right field line and scored the Rockies' run 5th inning. 1 out later, after his double, Russin drove him in with that single. And a ground ball hit weakly to first base. Goldschmidt to Hellickson. 1-2-3, 7th inning for the Rockies. 7th inning stretch in the desert. The Rockies are down a pair, 3-1. Bottom of the 7th now. And who wants tacos? Fans, follow @RootSports_RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special when the Rockies score 7 or more runs. Those look good. Taco Bell, Liv Moss. So for the Rockies, a new pitcher, and Scott Oberg will take over as Nick Ahmed, the leadoff man, will start here for the D-backs. Good effort by Chris Rustin. He would love to have that last inning back, but Scott Oberg will come on here for the Rockies, the right-hander, George.
Well, there's no question he'd like that back, but he did pitch well. 6 hits, 3 runs given up, 1 earned. Oberg will come on to face the top half of their order. The numbers on Oberg this year, you'll take a look and see it's his 31st appearance, 2-1, 29 innings, 29 and a third with 19 strikeouts. He has dominated right-handers.
And here's something interesting, facing Nick Ahmed. They were teammates in college at UConn. Inside ball 1. Oberg talking about that college team he had. He said a couple of years they had some very good players. I think he said there were 9 different players from the 2 years he was there that are playing professional baseball, and a couple of them at the big league level, including the guy at the plate. 2-0 inside again to Ahmed. 1 for 3 tonight is the leadoff man, the shortstop for the D-backs. That's in there for a strike. 2-1 to Ahmed. Scott Oberg, for the most part, has pitched very well for the Rockies. He's had some innings where the home runs have really hurt him. You take a couple innings away, and I think you see some very impressive numbers. There's Arenado with a big hop. And no one takes care of business this time. 1 down. It is time for our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Brought to you by Jimmy John's and A.J. Pollock. Got the scoring going for the D-backs. Led off the 6th inning with a long home run to left center field on a hanging curveball by Chris Russin. D-backs came back with 2 more in that inning to make it a 3-run inning and a 3-1 lead. And here is A.J. Pollock. 1 for 3 with that home run. It was his 10th of the year. I feel like this is a guy that can hit 15 to 20 a year, and he's on that pace right now with his 10th tonight. And the batting average back to 300 as well for Pollock. Center fielder, but he can play on the corners as well in the outfield. Naturally a center fielder with that speed. Inside, 2-0. Oberg fell behind the first hitter, Ahmed. Same here.
After you've had a pitcher on the mound, like you had at Chris Russin, throwing 88-91, now you see 95 from the right side on the other side of the rubber. Sometimes it's an inning or 2 to adjust. That should play favorably for Oberg.
That pitch is ripped up the middle for a base hit. 95-mile-an-hour fastball, but right over the plate for A.J. Pollock. And he's got a 2-hit night. Now you get a runner on for this guy, Paul Goldschmidt. 2 hits tonight, plus a long fly ball to center for an out. The Rockies have had trouble getting him out again, and that's no surprise at all. Against the Rockies, he's over 400 this year. In his last 19 home games, 18 RBIs for Paul Goldschmidt. And that pitch is low and in, ball 1. Six 6'3", 225 pounds, Paul Goldschmidt. He's from Texas, but never played football. He was actually a soccer player and a baseball player in high school. He said he never caught that Texas football bug.
I think that's why he's such a good athlete in his footwork around first. Obviously, he's a soccer player. It's a reflection of his baseball athleticism.
Reporter asked him in spring training, did you ever get pressured to play football? He said, no, I was asked. I mean, every year they wanted me to come out because I was a big kid, but I enjoyed playing baseball year round, and I enjoyed playing soccer. He said, I like football. I don't dislike the sport at all. I just never got into it. .350 batting average and 20 home runs. Unhealthy. A hitting star, and it's been that way for a couple of years. Pitch inside again. It's 3-0 to Goldschmidt, and Oberg has fallen behind every hitter. He went 2-0 to Ahmed, 2-0 to Pollock, and now 3-0 to Goldschmidt. Normally Oberg pretty good with his command, but not really so far in this 7th inning. .30 way outside. Ball 4. That pushes Pollock to second base, and the cleanup man Yasmani Tomas will come up. In the meantime, Hundley trying to settle the young right-hander down some. Missing the plate when he has hit the plate. He's put it right over the plate. That was the pitch he threw to Pollock. Yasmani Tomas is 0 for 3. Guy really swinging the bat well coming in.
Oberg in his career, 5 games versus the Diamondbacks, 4 2/3 innings. He's yet to give up an earned run.
Looks at second at Pollock, and then the pitch to Tomas is swung on and missed. So Tomas watching the man in front of him walk on 4 pitches, swinging away, and a pitch out of the strike zone.
Why not fire early, right?
Exactly. And a pitch out of the strike zone. If you got something right down the middle, I can see it. Get a little anxious. And the pitch, that one hit down the left field line. It's hooking toward the corner. Fair ball. Going to score 2 more runs. Yasmani Tomas with a 2-run double, and the D-backs have broken this thing open. 5-1.
31 RBIs, and as a bullpen, you pitch in certain games down 2, even, and winning. And for Oberg to get his feet on the ground, he needs to come into games like this and maintain it, particularly late in the game in the 7th inning when your ball club's looking to flip that lineup and be able to go for Walter, given a chance to try to win. And you try to get the matchups you want. 95-mile-an-hour fastball on the belt. See, look how quick he got his hands inside the baseball and able to keep this ball in fair territory. Normally you would think they would hook that foul, but he kept it in fair territory. 2 runs come in to score, and Steve Foster with a quick visit to the mound.
Nothing happening for the moment. The Rockies pen. This is Oberg's inning, it looks like, at least to this point. He'll have to keep going. Wellington Castillo, the hitter. Got the ground ball out with Ahmed after falling behind him, but the single to Pollock, the walk to Goldschmidt, the 2-run double to Tomas. No, the walks have hurt the Rockies tonight. The walk hurt him in the 6th inning, here in the 7th. Seems like that's been the case all year long. Oberg's pitch, low ball 1. That was Castillo taking that pitch. Castillo walked and scored in that 6th inning. Oberg looks at second, delivers, and it's inside again. It's 2-0, and again he has fallen behind a hitter. Done that to every hitter he's faced in this inning, and this is number 4. And you can see the body language, the frustration with Scott Oberg right now. As the sign from Hundley. 1 down in the inning. 2 runs are in. That one got in there. Curveball for a strike at 82. Still hitters advantage at 2-1. Here's the pitch. 3-1. And again, Oberg showing some frustration after he threw that one and stomped his foot and shook his head. Now the trials and tribulations of a young pitcher in Major League Baseball right here, Scott Oberg.
Well, a lot of times pitching coaches and managers see the results, but they also want to see reaction.
Yeah, how do you handle
the
things?
Body language gets tough. That's when you're starting to say, all right, you've got to stay intact with what you're doing. The visit's already been to the mound. So now Walt may have to go to the bullpen again, and that's not what he wanted to do. He'd like to get some length out of Oberg and save the bullpen.
Second walk in the inning for Oberg. He's given up a single, a double, 2 walks. And yes, that'll be the case. Justin Miller will grab a baseball and start warming up.
And it's where you've got to have that mentality of, I'm not going to allow what's going to happen next. I'm going to make what happens next. I'm going to make that pitch to get this double play or get the strikeout. It's a tough feeling, a lost feeling, when you don't have command of anything. And you're throwing curveballs, you're throwing sliders, and you're off the plate. And it's tougher for a manager to watch that, particularly when you have a guy throwing 95. How about that? All right, way to go, Albuquerque, 4-3.
There we go.
Yeah, on a walk-off home run. Going for the sweep tomorrow against Reno. That is, again, the AAA affiliate of the Diamondbacks.
Oberg's pitch. 2-0 again to this hitter. Just can't seem to find the strike zone. Look at the body language there, the frustration of the young right-hander. Aaron Hill has struck out, fly to left, and he was the man who hit the ball to third, and the error by Nolan Arenado opened up the door. Hill scored. Castillo, who had walked, scored ahead of him. All 3. I'm not sure Justin Miller can warm up quick enough here.
And the thing about it is you start overthrowing, or you start trying to throw it harder and harder and harder because of the frustration, and that's when you come out of your mechanics.
.30, you'd imagine Hill taking. We'll see. 3-0 pitch. He's in there. 3-1. Rockies bullpen on the road, actually, believe it or not, has been very good the last month or so. It has been at home where they've had the trouble, but tonight a little different story with Oberg. And that's fouled away. The last 23 games, the bullpen on the road, 2.85 earned run average. Not bad at all.
Outstanding.
Yeah. And actually the pitching overall on the road the last 23 games, not bad either. 3.80 earned run average. It's at home where they've had the trouble. 3-2 to Aaron Hill. And a ground ball fair. That's extra bases as well. 1 run scores. Another one being waved in. And the relay throw not going to be made. That's a 2-run double for Aaron Hill. And this game is broken wide open. 7-1. 4 runs, 7th inning.
22 RBIs now for Aaron Hill, and it's just, again, one of those happenings in a ball game that when the gates open, that's the toughest part about it. Walt checking to see if Miller is ready. He is, and he'll go to the bullpen. And there's not a guy on this baseball field right now that feels worse about this inning than Scott Oberg. It's just sometimes very difficult to recover and come back from that. Nolan takes a look at that ball, but it was hit extremely hard down the line. A positive clap by Walt and a pat on the rear end from Walt Weiss, but it's a 7-1 Diamondback lead. They've out-hit the Rockies 9-3.
Justin Miller will come in, pitching change. We'll be right back. 7-1, and he'll give way to Justin Miller, the right-hander.
The right-hander comes in making his 7th appearance, just recalled a couple of days ago. Right-handers have been dominated. 125 average, 6 innings, 5 strikeouts, is yet to walk a batter.
No, sorry, he'll get that thing in the mid-90s, will Justin Miller. Handful of games last year with Detroit. Free agent signee by the Rockies, a minor league deal in the offseason. He'll get David Peralta, who has had a good night tonight. He singled and then had that 2-run triple last time up in the 6th inning. 3 runs put across by the D-backs last inning and 4 so far here. Man at second, just 1 out. Justin Miller's pitch in there, strike 1 to Peralta.
Closed stance on the mound, which hides the ball a little bit longer for Justin Miller, so there's some deception involved. The other side of that is, even though he pitched against the Diamondbacks last week, there hasn't been a lot of looks against Justin Miller. Have success here. The Rockies desperately need an out.
Right there, strike 2. And you watch Justin Miller when he starts his motion. His back almost turned to the hitter. You can read his number on his back if you're a hitter. Trying to hide the ball and then throw in the mid-90s. Pretty good combination. Watch him turn his left shoulder, almost pointing toward third base. And that gets away from Hundley. Throw to third off balance. And off the bag and tagged out is Aaron Hill. Forgot to stop at third base. Rockies catch a break.
Take it any way you can.
Yep.
I mean, take it any way you possibly can. The ball snapped throw, the throw down to third base. It looked like Hill actually thought he was going to get hit with the ball. Watch right here where he kind of ducks out of the way. He thinks, I got a rip shot. It's going to hurt. And then, I forgot to slide.
Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. He thought that ball was headed to his helmet. So 2 outs and nobody on. 1-2 count on Peralta. Miller trying to finish this inning up. And the pitch. Got him. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So Justin Miller comes in, gets a couple of quick outs. We'll head to the 8th inning. The Rockies now down 7-1. Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By Mike Shaw Subaru, always our lowest price in sales and service guaranteed. And by Saratoga Casino, so new, so you. Jerry Schimmel, George Frazier back here in Phoenix. 7-1 now, Arizona. Rockies had a 1-0 lead in this. In the top of the 8th inning, new pitcher David Hernandez takes over for Arizona.
Just his 9th game to appearance so far, 0-1 record. 0-1 record with a 750 earned run average over 6 innings. 5 strikeouts, 4 walks so far. Left-handers and right-handers have hit him well since coming back off his rehab assignment. A very dominant 8th inning man.
Yeah, he's had some great years here in Phoenix.
Has.
Yeah, he's one of the top setup men in baseball for a while.
Drew Stubbs in the on-deck circle. He will pinch hit for the pitcher.
Daniel Descalso here. Descalso 0 for 2. And fouls that one back. Rockies have managed just 3 hits in the game. A run on 3 hits. And out it's 9-3 now. And trail 7-1. There's Drew Stubbs, just called up today.
You're always excited to see those guys that have had success from the big leagues go back to the minor leagues, battled their way back.
And Descalso takes that pitch high. Hernandez can bring it. That was 95 miles an hour. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Descalso. Former Baltimore Oriole David Hernandez. Talked that he might be the closer when healthy at some point. And fouled the plate off the front foot of Descalso.
Has always had a pretty good slider to go with the fastball. Addison Reed was the closer and then had failures in that role. He had been optioned to AAA. Burgos was brought back to the big leagues off of his rehab. Addison Reed sent to AAA. He's pitching in the 8th inning there for Reno so far. Trying to gain back what he had when he was a dominant closer for the White Sox in his first year here with the Diamondbacks.
Two and 2 on Daniel Descalso. Number 7 hitter playing second base tonight. We do expect to see LeMahieu back in the lineup tomorrow. And the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. And Drew Stubbs will stand up to the plate. And there's a tweet for Drew. Welcome back, Drew Stubbs. And he is happy to be back as well. I asked Walt Weiss, I said, what's the report on the attitude for Stubbs when he went down? And his playing in AAA, said it couldn't have been better. Great teammate, had a great attitude, was not sulking, was not complaining about anything. Said he worked his way back.
Well, I think a lot of that's Glenn Allen Hill. This ball's hit well to right field. Welcome back, Drew Stubbs. Get out of here. Ow, about a foot shot.
Almost came back with a bang. Sent that one to the wall and right, where Tomas is able to run it down. 2 outs for the Rockies in the 8th. And Brandon Barnes coming up. Something about this ballpark, George. How about the Rockies? 52-99 overall at Chase Field.
They played well. I mean, that's just one of their ball clubs that I don't think anybody anticipated the period that they would win as many games as they've had. But I think going into it, Tony La Russa, Dave Stewart, the 2 top-end minds on their baseball side of things, have gotten some productive years. The pitching has been able to hold up.
Barnes will take that for a strike. He's down 0-2. Here today that Brandon League has been designated, and we're not terribly surprised by that. He has had some struggles the last couple of years.
It came off of an injury, and no room in that bullpen.
Oh, just a little inside and high at Barnes.
Well, wanted the high fastball over the plate, and Hernandez missed by about 5 feet.
Talking about Brandon League, he had some good years with the Mariners. He was a closer for a while with the Dodgers.
And if healthy and throwing the ball well, he'll be picked up by someone else.
Hernandez fires to Barnes, and he fouls it back. Another pitch that's 96 miles an hour. Brandon Barnes has grounded out twice this evening, so 0 for 2, and the Rockies just with the 3 hits. 2 in 1 inning when they scored their run, 5th inning. Ellingson was terrific, and Hernandez has 2 quick outs here in the 8th. That one hit to left field. That's going to be a base hit. Brandon Barnes sitting back on a breaking ball, 81 miles an hour. It's got the Rockies' 4th hit tonight.
Go ahead and throw one behind my head, see if it intimidates me, and then come back with a slider, and I'll show you how to hit it. Good job, Brandon Barnes, right out into left center field with this base hit. On a slider in the bottom half of the zone, but in the middle of the plate. Charlie Blackmon with 2 outs come to the plate.
Let's see Charlie keep this thing going. Rockies down 6 runs, 7-1 in the top of the 8th. Blackmon 0 for 3. Ball 1 to Blackmon. Always trying to get Charlie Blackmon a day off on this road trip. He wasn't sure he could do it or not with 3 games after tonight. And then you've got the day off on Monday, and I was thinking maybe Charlie can wait.
Oliver Perez has started to warm up in their bullpen. That's all in preparation for Carlos Gonzalez, not for Troy Tulowitzki or Charlie Blackmon, obviously.
2 outs, Barnes at first. 2-0 pitch is hammered down the right field line, but that's a foul ball. Charlie turning on a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. I think he was looking fastball. Got it, got out ahead.
Well, when you're looking for the fastball, it sounds crazy, but regardless of whether it's 90 or 95 or 100, if it's up in the zone, belt high, it's going to get hit hard.
And Charlie will lift that to shallow left. Coming in, racing on is Peralta to get there in time. It's out number 3. Middle of 8th. It's a 6-run deficit for the Rockies. Back to Phoenix after this. Be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and description of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Colorado Rockies. Gorgeous night in the desert tonight. The Rockies having a tough time against the D-backs, so 7-1 is our score, bottom of the 8th inning. And Rafael Betancourt will get some work tonight, George.
Well, 26th game for him to appear in. 2-3 overall record, 675 earned run average. 21 1/3, 22 strikeouts against 5 walks.
Had some couple of games there in a row where he was under the weather and just didn't pitch well at all. Said he wasn't himself, and you take it 2 games away and got an ERA that's under 4 for Betancourt. Just figured that out the other day. And Rafi, for the most part, pitched well for the Rockies this year. I know the ERA is not where he'd like it to be, but a little deceptive, I think. Chris Owings leads off and swings and fouls the first pitch out of play. Strike 1. So tomorrow night, game 2, Kyle Kendrick and Chase Anderson, David Hale Saturday, Jorge De La Rosa Sunday for the Rockies, and the day off on Monday, and then you got the Atlanta Braves in town. Betancourt with a breaking ball that stays upstairs, 78 miles an hour. 1 ball, 1 strike on Owings. He has struck out twice and was intentionally walked in the 6th inning.
Well, with the Angels coming in on Tuesday and Wednesday, the Rockies want to change that pattern. 0-8 in interleague play so far.
Yeah, thank you for the correction. 2 games against the Angels, then the Atlanta Braves in. Just reaching for it, poking it down the left field line. Extra bases for Chris Owings. That was not a bad pitch by Betancourt, but a great piece of hitting by Owings. Leadoff double.
I want to correct myself. 1-8 in interleague. They won a ball game over in Oakland. I apologize for that. Yeah, here's the hard curveball in the middle of the plate. Just reached out, very well described by Jerry, and just poked this thing down the left field line. Not even a full swing. And by getting out front, shot it down into that corner. Here we go. Doubles all of a sudden becoming prevalent in the last couple of innings. Look how low he went down to get that ball. Right above the ankles.
You start hitting balls off the ankles, you're swinging the bat pretty well. 12th double this year. Danny Dorn is the pinch hitter now in this pitcher spot. There he is, a left-hander. This is quite a story as well. Dorn, a long-time minor leaguer before a call-up this year. Going to take a pitch outside for ball 1.
28 at bats, 5 hits, a double, 3 RBIs so far in 22 games, hitting 179.
And an at bat on April 21st after 939 minor league games.
Isn't that something? Congratulations.
Talk about perseverance. Good for him. Outside. You don't see too many position players that last that long. You see some pitchers and some catchers that last those 8-9 years. Don't see a lot of position players. Here's one of them, Danny Dorn.
Well, I think part of that, quite honestly, is the fact that they're paying pretty good money to play at the AAA level now, somewhere in that 10 to 15, depending on who you are, how much big league time, and all those kind of things. But you could make, you know, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 playing AAA baseball, and a pretty good healthy salary for you. And then go home and work in the winter. Some of these guys go home and coach basketball, assistant football. AAA season ends September the 5th. They got all winter to go back to the other job.
The story of Danny Dorn, we were told he was just sort of a fill-in guy, just an extra outfielder on that Aces team to round out the roster, and started hitting and didn't stop. He had 426 in 39 games for the Aces. He couldn't be ignored. Swings and foul tips that one in the glove of Hundley. 39 games at AAA at 426. He had 4 homers and 25 RBIs in 39 games. He's got the attention with the numbers, not the athleticism, but the numbers, and he got the call up with an injury early on.
And they needed a left-handed bat off the bench. So, I mean, there was 2 pluses by him coming to the big leagues.
And he'll bounce that one back to the screen again. He is from the Anaheim, California area. In fact, he was a vendor at Angel Stadium as a kid. Baseball junkie. Good for him. There's so many great stories in baseball, and here's one of them. Danny Dorn, D-O-R-N.
Well, I'm just happy baseball rewarded him after all those years of persevering, that somebody at the major league level say, hey, this guy's sticking around this long, battling it this long. Let's give him, even if it's a month, 2 weeks, give him that chance.
You see how they shift onto the infield, but there's ball 3. 3-2 now on Dorn.
Old scout said to me one time, you can't get to the big leagues if you don't have a uniform on. The guy's playing, you got a chance.
First base is open, nobody out, runner at second base. Betancourt doesn't walk many. We'll see if he challenges Dorn here. And the pitch is popped up on the infield and playable for Nolan Arenado. Drifts into foul ground. 1 down. Betancourt wins that battle. Now we're back to the top of the order. Ahmed tonight had a single way back in the first inning. The D-backs had a couple of singles in that first inning, couldn't score. They didn't score until the 6th when Pollock led off with a home run, but 2 more in that inning and then 4 more in the 7th inning to get their 7. Rockies' lone run coming in the 5th inning. RBI single by the pitcher, Chris Russin, the starter. High and outside, ball 1. This ballpark, after about the first week in May, really the second week in May, they shut the roof and they really don't open it again. April baseball with the roof open is actually very nice in here.
Very pleasant, much like the latter part of September in here. It's a great place to come.
That pitch is hit to shortstop. Troy Tulowitzki's been pretty quiet tonight. He'll throw to first for the out. And 2 down in the inning. And here's a tweet. Christian Adames had the walk-off tonight. It was a walk-off home run for the Isotopes. And there's a reward for it, the pie in the face.
Well, a good win for the AAA ball club. Mentioned John Gray started 6 innings, 3 runs given up, but he struck out 9, walked 3. They were able to pull out a W.
Christian Adames, by the way, having a really good year at the plate. Cup of coffee with the Rockies. Had a good strong spring training as well.
Trevor Story moved from AA to AAA, hitting, finding his way through it. He's only hitting a 111 right now, just a sampling of at bats. That will change.
Yeah, it was interesting to see how things go with him. As A.J. Pollock stands in and takes a pitch in there for strike 1. Story's career has been interesting. Every time they've moved him up, he struggled a little bit at that next level and then ironed himself out a little bit and thrived.
That's where the patience factor comes in for a Zach Wilson, a farm director, even Forbesy, that Chris Forbes, the assistant, because you know they're going to struggle somewhat. You're a young player in a very difficult league. Let's let them see if they figure some things out because they believed in you enough to move you to that level. Now see what you can do.
Talking about Trevor Story, shortstop, and he's going to play some different positions. He's going to play second and third as well. Tulowitzki, of course, entrenched as the Rockies shortstop. We saw Trevor Story in the spring. That's a talented young player with some really good pop in his bat. And a ground ball hit to Arenado. Drops it again. Another error. Run scores. 8-1.
Backhand down the line by Nolan Arenado with a guy with some speed at the plate. Pops out of the glove. Nolan trying to find it. By that time, too late to have a shot at A.J. Pollock.
Well, you know your team's having a tough night when your Gold Glover has 2 errors. Now Paul Goldschmidt with a runner at first. D-backs have scored in 3 straight innings now. First pitch in there, strike 1, a curveball. Both on backhand plays, the errors for Arenado. Normally so sure-handed there on that particular play. Goldschmidt takes a pitch high, 1-1. A couple of singles and a walk for Goldschmidt tonight. The one time the Rockies got him out, he had a drive to center that was about 400 feet, caught by Blackman. And that one head right to the shortstop, Tulowitzki. Force at second to end the inning. One more tacked on by the D-backs. 7-run lead, 8-1, heading to the 9th. momentarily. The Rockies sitting in the top of the 9th inning here and trailing 8-1. And new pitcher Matt Stites will take over now.
Recently recalled from Festus, Missouri. That's right outside of St. Louis, by the way.
I've been there.
No, you have.
I have ridden my bike through Festus,
There you
Missouri.
go. You have been there.
I have done that.
Matt Stites, 5'11", 195 pounds. He's bounced between here in Reno. He had lost his job at the big league level because of the inability to throw strikes. As recently recalled, Alan Webster was sent down. So with their ball club up 8-1, a chance to impress Chip Hale and Mike Harkey, their pitching coach.
We start with Tulowitzki, 2, 3, and 4 in the Rockies lineup tonight. Tulowitzki, one more at bat perhaps to keep that hitting streak going. He's 0 for 3 tonight. Lined out the center the first time, but then struck out twice. Trying to get that streak to 15 games. Maybe a bright spot for the Rockies tonight on a tough night. Led this game 1-0. 8 unanswered runs scored by the D-backs. Strike one. D. Gordon behind him by a couple of games, and Chris Davis of the Baltimore Orioles. So the current streak, the longest in Major League Baseball for Troy. They'll love to make it 15 right here. Just waves at that one. He's down 0-2. Fooled by a pitch.
A big hard breaking ball after a fastball at 93.
Nolan Arenado had a 17-game hitting streak ended yesterday in Oakland. And Troy trying to avoid the same fate. The 0-2. Looped into left field, and that's going to drop for a base hit. It is 15 games for Tulowitzki. Otherwise, tough night for the Rockies. A bright spot right there with Tulo.
No question. After he crushed the ball to dead center field that was caught on the warning track, it evens itself out. Missed location by Stites at 94 miles an hour, and Troy able to fight it off just below the handle to get into the outfield and extend that hitting streak.
And now Carlos Gonzalez will come up with nobody out here in the 9th. And with that 7-run lead, they're going to play behind the runners, so Goldschmidt will back up. Stites delivers, and that pitch is fouled away. Good swing put on it by Gonzalez, but strike one. Cargo with a strikeout, 2 ground ball outs. And the pitch outside. 1-1. D-backs will put that shift on again on the infield. Cargo has hit into that shift twice. He's grounded out to second base. It's not Owings out in right field like we saw him earlier because the runner's at first base, but there are still 3 over there. Shortstop Ahmed on the right side of the infield. Go around. He did. Field and Culbreth at third base said he went around. I know yesterday's game was not on TV, but it was an interesting one in that first inning of yesterday's game. Tom Hallion got hit by a foul and got knocked out of the game, literally had to leave the game. Broken bat, foul ball rolling toward the third base dugout. And that may have caught a piece of the umpire. The umpire, Jim Reynolds, behind the plate tonight. Yeah, I think he caught a piece at bat. He's all right, it looks like, but some of the bat from Cargo got him in the face. In yesterday's first inning, we had a delay of about 15 minutes when Tom Hallion got hit. That's a backswing. Yeah, I thought maybe part of that split bat got him, but I think the backswing by Cargo. And here's yesterday's first inning in Oakland, and that's again Tom Hallion behind the plate. Right there, knocked his mask sideways, staggered him. The trainer for the A's came out. We stood around for about 15 minutes, and they finally brought him off the field, and they resumed the game with 3 umpires.
Just like it is for the catchers, those concussions, very serious. for the umpires as well.
In this case, I think Jim Reynolds is all right. One and two on Cargo. Tulowitzki at first, nobody out. Pitch, swing, and a foul tip, but Castillo could not hold on. It was out of his glove, still 1-2. So you look at this D-backs team, you see a very good hitting team. You see a team that's improving with his pitching. Fielding, and they are very good. They're a very good defensive team. And there's a potential Gold Glover at first base in Goldschmidt. Just solid all around. They got good speed in the outfield. One weakness they thought defensively would be Tomas, but he has gotten better as the year has gone on defensively. And that one's line right at the second baseman, back to first. Double play. Oh, that's the way the night has gone for the Rockies. A line out and a double play with Tulowitzki off the bag at first.
Yeah, you try to get the best break you can off of the ball. And that's what Tulo's trying to do. It's kind of a leap step, and then when the ball got caught, quick flip over by the shortstop Ahmed.
I think as a base runner, you see that ball headed up the middle, you're thinking automatic base hit, but the shift was on. So Nolan Arenado at the plate with the Rockies down to a final out. Bases cleared for Nolan. A double and 3 trips and a couple errors tonight. His second 2-error game of the season in his career. He had a 2-error game in Miami last month. What you hope is when you commit an error, it doesn't cost your team. In this case, it sure did back in that 6th inning. Would have been the 3rd out, and after that, a 2-run triple to break the tie. And then the D-backs have not looked back. They're leading 8-1. In the dirt, 1 ball, 1 strike on Arenado. Stites has a sign. That kicks with that front foot, and the delivers, and a fly ball to right field. Tomas moving over. It's like he's got it, and there's the ball game. Boy, in a game that looked promising early on, the Rockies end up losing in the blowout tonight. 8-1 is our final. George, when you look at this one, you kind of shake your head a little bit, because I thought Chris Russin